Superman hits theaters this week.
Yep. Wow, that was quick, dude.
It was.
Wow.
I'm excited to check out Superman this week.
I'm interested in checking
You're
out.
curious.
I'm not
Yeah,
excited.
okay.
No.
James Gunn, I know you don't want us to compare superhero characters because that's the dumbest conversation in the world. What we are going to do, we're going to watch your movie this week and then we're going to compare it to Fantastic Four First Steps in a couple weeks. So,
Absolutely.
Believe it or not, I've never sat down and watched the entire movie Man of Steel from beginning to end until this past weekend. I have some thoughts, okay? So the best way to describe this movie as a whole is boring and drawn out. It focuses on a time of Superman's life that nobody gives a fuck about. Man of Steel, do I recommend this? No, definitely not. All right.
It's not just 4th of July, is it?
No, but this is where it's like the Nathan's competition.
Oh,
This is
the
like
Nathan's hot dog
It's the
company.
Super Bowl of fucking glizzy eating, dude.
Wow.
This motherfucker, Joey Chestnut, he's won 17 times, I believe. Okay.
Wow.
He ate 70 and a half hot dogs in 10 minutes. You know what the number 2 person was at?
What?
Like 40 or 50. So like, bro, you just
He's like an
doing it.
Olympian. I mean, he's just doing it because he can.
I don't think they've done a great job of portraying how powerful Spider-Man really is on screen. Dude is stronger than most characters. There aren't many characters that one-on-one fight are gonna beat Spider-Man.
No.
Black Adam would beat Superman 7 out of 10 times. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. That's Adrian.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Another beautiful day in New England.
Yo, the summer is here.
Well, something's
Has
there.
been.
All I know is what was last week is not here.
Correct.
At least for today.
Yes. Well, happy belated 4th, Adrian.
Same to you, sir.
Yeah, it was a nice 4th of July weekend. Fireworks going off everywhere.
Right.
People blowing themselves up. Good old stuff, dude.
There was that. There was
you
all
see
that.
factory in, what was it, California or something?
No.
Dude, a firework factory literally just blew the fuck up.
Listen, it didn't just literally blow. Somebody made that happen or something. It had to or something.
Yeah.
Or some serious carelessness.
Something, dude. But it was massive, and I guess I don't know the detail. There was still a handful of people missing, which sucks.
Damn, it does.
Then, dude, I saw this.
Wait a minute, you said that was in California?
Pretty sure it's California.
To
Yeah.
add on top of all the
All the
fire
other
and shit that's
dude.
going on.
I know.
Damn.
That sucks.
That does.
Did you ever play sports growing up, Adrian?
In my backyard.
Oh, your
yeah.
backyard. Okay. And then didn't you were in like bodybuilding for a little bit too, right? So you know about competing, training, right?
Yes.
So there was a competition. This happens every 4th of July. I don't know if you've seen this, but a hot dog eating contest. Okay, the Nathan's hot dog. And I'm just like, dude, this is why most people hate Americans.
Right.
We do. This motherfucker, Joey Chestnut, he's won 17 times, I believe. Okay.
Wow.
He ate 70 and a half hot dogs in 10 minutes. And dude, not only did he eat 70, you know what the number 2 person was at?
What?
Like 40 or 50. So like, bro, you just
He's like an
doing it.
Olympian. I mean, he's just doing it because he can.
That's like the somehow fucked up version of like Kobe Bryant dropping 80 points when they're up by 40, you know, except I don't know. Like, this is why. Why?
But your throat is prime to just swallow a hot dog.
Pause.
I'm just saying. I mean, come on. You really want to walk around with people looking at you like that? Like, dude, your throat really for real?
Yes.
Wow.
As the kids say, that's a little zesty.
But don't they do that for like certain like baseball games? I mean, I think that it's not just 4th of July, is it?
No, but this is where it's like the Nathan's competition.
Oh,
this is
the
like
Nathan's hot dog.
It's the Super Bowl of fucking glizzy eating, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what the kids call it, a glizzy.
Glizzy. Is it just the dog or the dog and the bread?
I think they gotta eat the bread too. They like dip them in water and wrap them up so it's easier to digest.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's crazy shit, dude. But that is a lot of hot dogs going down your throat.
Kudos to Mr. Deep
Joey
Throat over there.
Chestnut, no Diddy. Dude, by the way, dude, we were talking about more about this on other stuff, but Diddy got acquitted of a few charges, not guilty. Now, listen, I ain't defending the guy. I'm just saying from the get-go, I did not understand how they thought they were going to get a RICO charge.
Right.
He ain't Tony Soprano.
Right.
He's just like doing some weird shit with baby oil and, you know, he's an asshole. Right? He's a piece of shit.
And have been in some.
Correct.
But you know, whatever.
Yeah, but like, that doesn't make him Al Capone, you know? So, Anyways, but dude, I noticed the attire, Adrian.
Yes, sir.
You got a Superman shirt. I got a Superman shirt. And dude,
it's
hey,
the beard.
Pop Vinyl. No, you guys suck. Okay, go to the wide shot real quick, Adrian. So we got these Pop Vinyls. We paid like fucking $8 million for them, and Adrian's cannot stand up because of the beard.
It's the beard, man.
Y'all can't balance a fucking Pop Vinyl.
At least make the head movable.
Something,
so
dude.
Alter it.
Holy shit. Unbelievable. So, do I recommend buying them? Not if you're bald and have a big beard, because that shit's going to happen to you right there.
All right, let's see if we can tilt the head back a little bit. Counterbalance.
There you go. And if you can't tell, this episode is not sponsored by Funko, and probably never will be.
Right.
Fuck it. Shit, pissing me off, dude. We a couple big weeks, though. We got Superman. So, as I was saying before we were rudely interrupted.
Exactly, yeah.
Superman attire. Superman hits theaters this week.
Yep. Wow, that was quick, dude.
It was. Feels like we just saw... Henry Cavill's brother out there, in the trailer. Or remember that shot where he's fixing his boots, pumping them up, and explosion. So
Christmas tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. So even though we're Marvel shills, Adrian, even though I actually went to Six Flags for 4th of July, I rode a Superman ride. Dude. Nice. So I was in there.
Hey, God bless you, dude.
You never been on Superman ride?
I won't even live vicariously through you on that one.
Dude, you were in the Navy. Did you get on submarines?
Yeah, but we didn't go to the bottom of the ocean at Mach 10.
Okay.
No.
Anyways, but I'm pretty excited for this movie.
Sure.
I hope it's good. I really do.
Excitement is a big word.
Well, I am. I hope it's good.
I do. I hope it's good.
I actually, when we get to our segment, I finally have watched Man of Steel. I've never seen that movie before.
I do believe it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it later. I'd rather fucking be in the hot dog eating contest and watch that movie again. But so, all right, we get into some news and rumors here, Adrian.
Yep.
There's this. You ever heard of the review embargo that movies? I don't know if it's like, I don't know too much about it. Basically, what it is when a movie drops, there's a time period where you are not, if you run one of these websites, publications, reporters, you're not allowed to put out a review yet.
I think that's good.
Right, because you don't want to spoil the movie,
sure.
Right? Or get some bullshit like Ironheart where you're putting reviews out before you even saw the show to review bomb it because you don't like black chicks or something. I don't know. I mean, that's just my hypothesis, but could be other things.
Could be other things.
So there's a website called The Daily Beast, not to put them on the spot, but they fucked up, Adrian. They inadvertently published their review a few nights ago. Now, maybe they had their review queued up. I mean, you're a website guy, right? Maybe it was like...
you can time some things. Maybe somebody, got the date wrong or the time wrong or both.
Or that, yeah. Or it could have been in a draft somewhere, right? Like, don't make this live, and then maybe someone makes it live.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just posted it to be an asshole. I don't know.
That is also possible.
That. I'm not saying. Now, this Daily Beast, allegedly they're well respected, Adrian. They written for publications like Variety, Esquire magazine. They're not a superhero hating website. They've given positive reviews to Guardians 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which we said is the best comic book movie of all time, and Thunderbolts. I like Thunderbolts. So far, I mean, I like all those movies.
Sure.
That doesn't mean I would agree with them on every movie, but I just wanted to tell you, Adrian, what they said about Superman. So here, let's read some excerpts from this review. It says that the reboot resembles a Saturday morning cartoon that's overstuffed. It promises plenty of action, but the film is so awash in over-the-top CGI insanity that its slam-bang mayhem loses its punch. Okay. He says, talking about David Cornsweet, because that's a big piece of this, right? Who plays Superman. He comes across as relatively slight, a situation exaggerated by all over-the-place nature of his saga. I don't say a lot to say nothing. Yeah, like, just use fucking real words.
Right. Like, does he suck or not?
There you go. Yes. Does he get distracted when he hears this? Do we know? I don't know. You just got to be so sophisticated. Like, just, hey, he fucking did good at Superman. He did not do good at Superman. Exactly. I liked his Clark Kent. I didn't like his Kal-El. Something like, give us something. Then he says,
I don't like the fact that he creases his face every 5 minutes.
See, that's easy to understand.
Exactly.
Yes.
Third grader.
One thing I can promise you about this show today is you will not be confused. It's not going to be over your head. We're going to keep it right
That's
here.
it.
Right? Yeah.
That's it.
So he goes on to say that to hold on for dear life as it whiplashes about from one out of this world, something, something. Oh, let's get to the better part here. He says that Superman gets tangled up in fanciful nonsense that soon renders the entire affair superficial and silly. It overpopulates itself with heroes and villains. It has neither the time nor the inclination to develop. Consequently, everyone and everything is two-dimensional, no matter that the director's imagery is sharp and vibrant. And the headline says, terrible new Superman is the final nail in superhero cinema's coffin. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. Now, this is just one review.
Sure.
Right? So,
I mean, it's not going to influence anybody at all.
Right, yeah. Yeah, especially that you put it out fucking a week before the movie drops. Daily Beast. Who's paying you? Now,
sounds like you should rename it Biannual Beast or decade-long Beast. It might be going away.
Now, maybe they're Marvel shills, Adrian.
Possibly.
So the 3 movies that I named that they gave positive reviews to were all Marvel movies.
Okay? Yes, they were.
So there was no Batman in there. There was they haven't put out really any movies. So
and it can't be a Zack Snyder thing, right?
No,
because he's not there. So and it can't be what's his face? The actor.
Yeah,
because he's not there.
Right. Cavill.
Cavill, because he's not there. They probably would have changed their tune if it was Cavill. I mean, I probably would have.
You would have, definitely.
So
you like the Cavill Superman, huh?
I did. I mean, I like the Roth.
Oh,
Ralph.
From Superman Returns.
Yes.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I've also not seen that movie.
I also believe that.
Okay.
But in the absence of everything else, it sounds like they kind of hate DC. Maybe.
Yeah, it could be that. Now, I mean, we've seen most of the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
I did say this in I think Agree to Disagree last week before. I do believe that this will be one of the most visually appealing Superman movies we've ever seen.
Okay.
That is, we'll get into Snyder later, but dude, there's no color in that movie. Fucking Man of Steel. It's like they shot in that dark corner behind you over there. I can't tell. Is that Superman? Is it Black Superman suit? Is it Black Adam? I don't know. Everything's so fucking dark.
It is. It's like how can you be in the sun and it still be dark?
Right. Like, yeah, what kind of sun y'all got over there?
Like dark undertones and stuff. It's like, it was crazy. I mean, I did like the movie.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Well, there's a few.
It was entertaining.
Okay.
I mean, I actually kind of like fast forwarded through it just to kind of, in case we talked about it today, I just wanted to, because I've seen it before. I revisited it.
Okay. Got it. All right. Well, I mean, hearing this review, forget about this review. You, right now, going into Superman, do you have any expectations?
No. I will watch any Superman movie that comes out.
Got it.
And I will, obviously pass judgment on it after the fact. But, I mean, this does look like it's nonsense. It looks like it's nonsense to me.
Looks a little silly.
I don't understand the whole politics thing. That's why I'm not in politics. But, to me, he doesn't. I think one of the appeals of Superman is his ruggedness. Yes, he's muscular and all this other kind of stuff. But, cornballs, he doesn't have, his face is like too baby smooth. It's like a light switch, right?
Got it.
Cavill has some ruggedness to it.
Yeah.
Maybe, they'll flush that out. And then, the dad, is his dad named Ben too?
Is it? No, Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Anyway, he looks, in the previews, he looks like a drunk. So that was kind of disturbing. So while I don't have any expectations, I do have criticisms going in. But I will watch the movie and we'll see what happens after that. But that's kind of damaging.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, I guess the only thing that, is working in their favor, DC, is I don't know that the Daily Beast is that big of a name. If Rotten Tomatoes dropped the review early, it'd probably do more damage.
Daily Beast has been around for a minute. I think it carries some weight.
Sure. Yeah. More than the fucking people who comment in our comments. But
Well, the thing that DC has going in his favor is that that's the only movie they're going to make in the next decade. So people either have to watch that or don't watch a DC movie at all.
Well, I don't know. I got some news, Adrian, that may say that that's not true, but let's move on. So speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, they recently polled its users. They didn't poll us, though. We have a whole segment that we dedicate to them. They didn't even ask us our opinion on this.
Bastards.
Son of a bitch, you know. This episode is brought to you by Only Comics.
Oh, be careful. Fucking bobblehead over there gonna
seriously. Yeah, you sit still. Fuck. Rotten Tomatoes recently polled some of its users, and they determined that Superman is the most anticipated movie in the month of July.
I don't believe that at all.
You don't believe it?
No.
What would you think is number one?
Well,
let me read you the top five.
For July?
Yeah, for July.
Okay, go ahead and read the top.
Number 5, Eddington. God knows what that is.
That?
Exactly. Number 4, The Old Guard 2.
I saw that.
You did?
Yeah, that's another topic.
Okay. You seen the first one?
Absolutely. Loved it.
Really?
it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Charlize Theron. Yep.
Okay.
She's turned from one of the most beautiful women on the planet to a mannequin. But anyway.
Okay. Number 3. This is where I'm like, yo, who did y'all ask? Number 3, The Fantastic Four First Steps.
Okay, I got to hear number 2 now.
Number 2, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah, I didn't even know they was making a Jurassic Park, and now it's number 2. Come on.
Yep.
It's got to be what's her face?
It's the one with Scarlett.
Yeah,
Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yep.
Come on, dog.
Which I've heard it dropped, I think last week, or this week. I heard it got pretty good reviews. I just don't need to see any more Jurassic World films. That's where I'm at.
Well, to be honest, do we really need to see any more Superman movies?
After watching Man of Steel, yes, we need. It's kind of like if I served you breakfast, Adrian, and it sucked. The best way to get over it is have a good lunch, right?
Yes.
I watched Man of Steel that some of y'all been glazing for years, and I'm like, give me something fucking else, because this is God, son of a bitch. Anyways, number 1, Superman. So the most anticipated.
Yeah. The 5 and 4, 5 I've never even heard of.
Okay.
4, whatever. But the top 3, yeah, they got that all messed up.
I'm shocked that Jurassic World is there. Like how I don't believe that one. I'm not surprised by the Superman over Fantastic Four, most anticipated, just because I think Superman is a much bigger brand than the Fantastic Four.
I agree with that.
Right?
I agree with that.
Like you stop 10 random people on the street and ask them who Superman is, they all know who he is.
Sure.
They may not know much about him, but they know, oh, he's the guy with the curling hair. And and you ask them who Fantastic Four is, fuck.
Yeah.
They're going to be lost.
I get it.
But if you ask us here, I think it's 100% more anticipated is Fantastic Four.
Sure.
As weird as that grammar just sounded.
And probably Jurassic Park would be number 5 if I even thought of it.
Exactly. Yeah, it came out July 2nd. So
wait a minute, it's out?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's out.
that tells you something right there.
Yep. It's got a 50-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it ain't doing much.
Wow.
And then at the box office so far, 82 million. I don't know if that is worldwide or what. But yeah, so it's.
I'll watch it next week on streaming.
Right? It is. It's drizzling out in theaters right now. Is what it's doing.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's see. On July 5th, it would make 35 million domestically, which resulted in its 5-day blah blah projected at 145 million. So it's doing okay-ish, but yeah, definitely. I'm with you. I'll not even wait till it's on streaming. Like I have YouTube TV, so every time I'll just scroll through like regular channels, and the last one was on Dominion or some shit like that, and I watched like 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. The dinosaurs are running through the streets, they're running into people's homes, like it's just. And then you know the one good thing about this one though, Chris Pratt's not in it. Now. I like Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, but you've seen him in Jurassic World, right?
I have.
He does one thing, Adrian. The dinosaurs
talk to something.
The dinosaurs show up and he does this. If I see him do that in one more fucking scene, he's just gonna freeze the dinosaurs with these hand motions. Like, so I'm glad that he's not. Even though I'm not gonna see it, I'm glad he's out. So, all right. Fantastic. Speaking of Fantastic Four First Steps, the Mole Man Adrian, as someone who was rumored to be in this movie. You familiar with the Mole Man?
Yes, sir.
What do you think about the Mole Man as far as a villain?
I don't. He's the Mole Man to me is like the Riddler on the DC side. I mean, he's kind of like nothing.
Here's my issue with the Mole Man, because I've read some stories where he does play a big presence, and it's this whole, it actually ties into the Hollow Earth theory, Subterranea. He's got this whole world within the world. All that is cool. He's a nuclear engineer and explorer, okay? He was shunned as a child because of his abrasive personality and his dwarfism, so he's a dwarf. He had all these crazy theories of the Hollow Earth, and, you know, eventually he discovers that they end up being real. He stumbles upon Monster Island, yada, yada, yada. He is the king of the moloids, okay? You know what the moloids are?
Yeah.
Mole human hybrids. Okay. Here's my issue with the Mole Man. Why the fuck would you want to base a super villain on a fucking mole? They're disgusting. Isn't there some other underground creatures we could have used?
Yeah, but the mole has kind of like superpowers. Basically the ability to move quickly through the earth.
Got it.
There really isn't, you know, something that can do that unless you're going to call it a United States hole boring machine. But the Mole Man sounds like it sounds like when they created that person, it was a desperate attempt to shine light on something that nobody else had any interest in.
Okay.
You know, it's like, what's that game? That game where you take the broom, you freeze the bowling lane, and you throw a block of ice down and you run behind it with a broom.
Oh, curling.
Yeah. So you are good at nothing. Like nothing.
Yep.
So you pay somebody to create this game in which you mastered, and then you go pay off somebody to include that in some games so people can look at you.
Right.
That's what the Mole Man was.
Curling sounds like some shit like, you know, like when you're a kid, you don't have a lot to play with. You make up games with like your sibling. Like we used to like make paper airplanes and throw them at the fan and shit. And like, and you'd always find a way. Like if it lands here, it's 4 points, and there, and like you're playing a fucking game. That's what curling sounds like. Like maybe someone in Alaska was like, we ain't got shit to do. Yo, grab your mom's broom. Get that fucking stone there, throw it. Yo, sweep the shit. Look, it's going. Believe it or not, it's an Olympic sport. Or it was a Winter Olympic sport at one time.
Yes.
Yeah. That's actually where I saw it for the first time.
So did I. And I was like, what is that? Like what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they talk about, you know, how they special make these pucks, and there's only one island that you can get the rock or whatever the fuck it is. And,
unbelievable.
You know, we got these witches 200-year-old brooms they got special coating on the bottom, and you know we have these neat anyway.
Yeah. No offense to anyone who plays that sport, or do you play curling? Do you curl? I don't even know the proper nomenclature.
I mean, but we just joke here. We have fun. We're just shooting the shit between the two of us.
Correct.
You know.
Yeah. So hey, if you're a curler, dude, fucking have at it. Curl the fuck out of that thing or whatever they do.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyways, Harvey Rupert Elder is his name. I don't like, dude, they just gave this guy like the worst shit. So
wait a minute. So he's the king of mold hybrid people.
Yes.
He has a serial killer 3-part name. Yep. He's a what?
A dwarf.
Dwarf.
And he's an ass. He's an abrasive person.
Wow. Dude, he literally had no friends growing up. None.
But his tie to Fantastic Four is, I think it was in their first mission, they encountered the Mole Man back in old school comics, right? So
what, Ben like lost control of his leg and stepped through the subway?
No. So Mole Man he was already, you know, underground in Subterranea or whatever. And he wanted to extract some revenge on the surface world. The classic, you bully me, you made fun of me because I look like a mole. Well, now I got these moloids, and I'm going to come back to the surface and get my revenge. So Fantastic Four, it was their first mission after they got their powers. They stepped in, and they stopped the little fella. Anyways, dude, I was playing around with AI. So
Wait a minute. So, all right. So when I was growing up, right, you know, they talk about iron sharpens iron, and, you know, boulders, you know, round each other out.
Sure.
Or, you know, so in my family, like everybody, first of all, you got in trouble, everybody was beating your ass. The teacher, the principal, on your way home, your aunt and uncle find out about what's going on. Your uncles, your uncles and aunts, they don't even bother with you because they know mom and grandma and dad and all of them going to peel the rest of that skin off your ass, right? So we go through all of that, and it's kind of like you become maybe a little aggressive and rough when you get older.
Sure.
But what you don't do is go out and create genocide.
Right.
I mean, commit genocide. And it sounds like this kid's missing some conflict resolution in his life.
Yes. Anger management would have helped at a young age, He had no one to intervene.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
just
anyways,
destroy the whole world.
There's a lot of stir about AI. Like, don't use AI.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, I like to use AI.
Okay.
And I like to have some fun with AI. So when I was reading this about Mole Man, I thought, first of all, I think the mole is one of the most unnecessary and disgusting inspirations for a comic book character, right? But so I'm like, all right, there's got to be some alternatives.
Not a raccoon.
No, I fuck with the raccoon. The moles just, maybe because they fuck up my yard too. Like, I've had issues with moles, so they piss me off. Yeah, I had the fucking tunnels and shit in my yard.
Oh, wow.
So I talked to my friend ChatGPT, and I was like, let's create. So I wanted to see, it can create images, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I played around a little bit, and I said, let's come up with some alternatives for Mole Man. So
maybe I won't cancel my subscription.
Hey, the movie, comes out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
They may have time to switch it with some CGI. I don't know. So let's pull up macro. I don't fucking know. The one we use for the comic thing. That's how we do it here.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at you. All right. So here we go, Adrian. The first one is Chipmunk Boy. Okay.
Wow.
What do you think?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, actually.
Right? So that's an alternative. Okay. So we got a couple more. We got 5.
Look, Rocket's cousin.
Yes. Beaver Lad. Okay. That one probably not so much.
Yeah. I mean, looks like he's rubbing himself with
why has he got the stick like that?
Yep.
Okay. Skunk Kid. This one looks pretty cool.
No, not really.
No?
No.
You wouldn't want to have him on your team?
No.
Okay.
No.
A Possum Girl.
There
you go.
Nice.
It's
Disgusting.
like something that would have been in Agatha or something. We also have Foxman. Look at this one.
That's cool.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think Foxman over Mole Man.
Yeah.
I mean, foxes dig holes, right? Or they fuck around in your yard and shit.
Well, they will to get at something.
There you go. So, anyways, well, there you have it. Those are our proposed alternatives, is working on with. So AI is not all bad.
Yeah.
You have some fun with AI.
It's pretty cool.
I can mess around with this image thing a little bit more.
Dude, man, the stuff they coming out with now is crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Adrian, good segue. The stuff they're coming out with now. So James Gunn, he said he's been talking a lot. He talks. But sometimes it's like that whole broken clock thing, right? Every once in a while he says something that, you like. I also didn't know this about our friend James Gunn. We have a lot more in common, me and him, than you would think.
Oh, do tell.
So we both like Marvel over DC. I don't know if that's true, but, for me it is. He's also mentioned this several times that Batman is his favorite character.
Nice.
Yeah. So hopefully he doesn't fuck up Batman. Okay. Because it's like, Iron Man's your favorite character still, right? If you were, a director and you got to make an Iron Man movie, you're going to want that one to succeed more than any other one, right? Not that you don't want the other, but you're like, this is my guy. I can't fuck this one up. So we do know that the Batman 2 script is done. Now, James Gunn said he hasn't read it yet. I'm like, dude, wouldn't you read that the minute you fucking got? Maybe you're busy with Superman.
Sure,
I got it.
sure.
Okay. There's also been this whole part of the fan base that believes Battinson should be the DCU's Batman, which I don't want that to happen at all. There's no part of me that wants to see that. How do you feel about that idea?
I could go either way because I didn't like him as the Batman anyway. So if he showed up on big screen, I mean, as the streamlined Batman, but I would not prefer to see him. I'm looking for a mature, a Batman.
Correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Not a year 2 Batman.
No. I mean, well, shit, as long as this movie's taken, he's gonna be about year 10 when it comes out. But and now there's some rumors that the next DCU film after Superman could be a world's finest movie. We talked about this where Superman and Batman team up. So I hope they don't go down that route because I think that's one of the areas that the DCEU messed up where you're building Superman, build your Batman, and then have them meet. We don't need to drop them together in the next movie, right? Like a Batman versus Superman.
Why? I mean, we just had the whole. Why are we going this route again at all?
Yeah, give us some time, dude. It took Marvel like 5-6 years to get to Avengers or whatever it was. It was 2008. Iron Man came out, and then 12, so 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to make that in the next movie.
How about you build up your other properties? You know, maybe pop a Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman, because these are top shelf people. They don't need to be in the mix all the time.
Right.
Build up your other properties, have them pop in, and then after that, introduce them.
Like, dude, Batman he needs his own path. He needs his own spotlight. Anyways, they asked him about the DCU Batman. So we have so far we know about that movie is it's titled The Brave and the Bold. To your point, it's supposed to be a more matured Batman. Mm-hmm. The Bat family's already there, and Damian Wayne is at least introduced. He's part of that movie, and they're gonna do some of that Son of Batman, the whole Grant Morrison run where he. So I'd imagine. I mean, how cool would this be? The movie starts with Talia dropping Damian off, like, "Yo, here's your son." Right. Fucking oh shit. Then opening title. Oh man, now we got some shit going. Like we don't need the backstory. Right. We don't need how he became. We got a whole Matt Reeves verse with, like you said, the year 2 or maybe who knows, year 3, 4 Batman when it comes. But we got the early Batman. Give us the one that's been Batman for 15 years. Right. You know, that's about tired of everybody's shit. Mm-hmm. He's a little miserable, but he's still a badass motherfucker. Like we've seen in the comics, right? Right. So he mentioned this about the DCU. James Gunn. Now, one thing he said that he was right about was he expected a script for the Batman 2 in July, and he got one. He also expects that there's another Batman script on the way before the end of the year for The Brave and the Bold. So it means we'll be getting 2 Batman movies in the next, hopefully, few years. Right. So I think it's a good thing. But I wanted to discuss why, because I get this question on TikTok a lot. Why wouldn't you want Battinson in the DCU if he's so good? So I have a few reasons. I don't know, 3, 5, something like that. But I think I got 3 reasons off the top of my head of why. I don't think it would work. Number one, the Reeves verse, that's what I'm calling it, the Reeves verse. It's too dark and too grounded for the DCU, in my opinion. And you go, well, what do you know about the DCU? I know that I've seen the Superman trailer. Now, I know it's Metropolis, but dude, it's bright colors. It's visually, it's about, it looks fun in a way. Okay. The Batman does not look fun. It looks like, dude, you probably shouldn't go around that corner. Like they did Gotham to a T. Now, not that those two can't mesh, but I think it's more about how grounded it is. Like you got Batman fighting just some random thugs off the street, struggling. Like it's very early Batman. In the DCU, with all of these 300 plus years of metahumans being around, right. You're going to have that version of or you need to have that version of Batman that goes toe to toe with Superman, that is in fucking space with Justice League. Like, yeah, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
Like it's too grounded for that.
Pattinson's Batman, I think what you're saying is not mature enough. Right. To deal with a universe in which there's pretty much always been superheroes, right, and a what seems to be a mature Superman.
Absolutely. And I don't think that Reeves' verse, the feel I get is there are no metahumans. People are freaking out over Batman in the suit beating people up. Right. If they knew of Superman and all these other, meta people, Flash and all that, they wouldn't be as shocked as seeing some guy show up in a cape and whip someone's ass. Correct. It'd be pretty normal. So that's kind of the second reason for me is metahumans definitely weren't around in the Reeves verse for 300 years. Right. So it would feel forced if you were to merge these two universes. Yeah. And then the one you said earlier would be number 3 is Pattinson's Batman's too young to be in this type of universe. The DCU, and I think it's one of the best things that they have going for them. And I think they learned that because James Gunn watched this a few weeks ago when I pointed this out. Because believe it or not, now they're using this 300-year of history of metahumans as a marketing piece. Because it's different. It's unique. Right. So because of that, I don't think that. I think the young Batman doesn't fit into that story.
No, the Pattinson Batman right now is still kind of stepping over his own feet.
Right.
I mean, he's learning things, learning how to be the Batman. And part of learning how to be the Batman is how to create this Bruce Wayne persona.
Right.
And he can't do that with the Superman that's coming out.
Right. It was even described as Elseworld. So in DC Comics, there's a line of comics. I don't know if it's only Batman. Again, we're not experts, but it's Elseworlds, meaning this is like an alternate reality version of this character.
Correct.
And that's how the Batman, the Reeves universe was treated as an alternate. No, there's no one else that exists. It's just Batman. It's just Gotham.
Well, imagine this. Why are they trying to force this? Or am I misinterpreting this? And they're not forcing
They're not trying to force. I think there's a pocket of fans that want this.
Got it.
And this is like, when James Gunn responded last week, like, dude, I think all is a stretch. It's not all.
Right.
And I agree. I don't think it's all. I think it's a handful of people.
Sure.
And just because, like, dude, you know me, I glaze that movie.
Mhm.
I glaze that movie like that guy glazed those 72 Glizzies at the hot dog eating contest. No Diddy. But I glazed the Batman.
Wow.
But I don't want it's like, dude, I like the Batman and I like Fast and Furious. I don't want to see Batman show up in Fast and Furious.
Did he use baby oil to slide those hot dogs on himself?
I don't know if that's banned or not. Actually, now that this whole Diddy thing's over, like, is it still illegal to buy baby oil?
No, the more important question is Sam's or BJ's or whatever going to carry baby oil at this point?
Yeah, I think with him being locked up, they were able to restock.
We are evil.
Yes, absolutely.
No, we're not.
No,
we're good guys.
100% sometimes. But so I think for that too, that Batman is too young.
Yeah.
I think that this DCU Batman should be a more, because it's almost like the approach to the DCU. Now we'll find out more this week when we see the first movie, but it's not, hey, you're going to watch this from the ground up. It's, we're going to take this audience and drop them into a comic universe that's been around again for 300 years.
Right.
So it's a different approach. I don't want to see anyone's origin in this DCU, honestly.
No, not at all.
Just explain what you need to explain through some flashbacks and drop us in present day, established heroes, established villains, things like that.
Right. Well, one thing I do agree with the review place Beats or whatever the hell it was.
Oh, Daily Beast.
Daily Beast. There's a lot of personalities that's in it, according to the previews.
Right.
And I heard, isn't a rumor that Ezra Miller's Flash going to be in there?
No. Please no.
Running up Godzilla's back.
Yes, absolutely. In Dom's Charger. But there's a lot of pieces to play within this. Now, I think sometimes when we hear that this movie's going to have this character, we automatically assume that character is going to have a major presence in that movie.
No.
They can be just in passing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like in movies, there's extras, there's sideline characters, there's the person at the barista, there's someone you cross in the street. The fact that this universe has had metahumans for 300 years, I think some of those roles can be other metahuman. Everyone doesn't have to be part of the major plot to be in the movie. Also,
there's numbers. If you got 10 number one characters on the screen at the same time,
right,
there's a number 10.
Correct.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Then there's this one person at the top. So
I think you'll see less of like just random human, weaklings. You'll see more meta people. So anyway, but yeah, I don't think those universes mesh. I think it's like oil and water. It doesn't seem like a good fit. For at least what we've seen so far with the DCU. Now, who knows? We could see the movie, this week and go, you know what? Shit, that movie was actually darker than we thought. You probably could bring. But I'm going with, I don't think that there's any reason why you should take the Battinson Batman and merge them into the DCU. Find your own fucking Batman.
I think the number one reason that you're pointing out is that the maturity level of, the Batman. He's just not ready to be in that universe.
Right. And then you can age him up but why?
But why?
Why? Just cast another one.
Exactly.
It's less confusing.
There's plenty of dudes that look like that.
Right. We've been conditioned now where they, recast Spider-Man every 3 weeks and there's a new, so who cares, dude? Just get another Batman at this point.
I mean, Corn Sweat's gonna fail as Superman, so maybe he can just, just be Superman and Batman at the same time. Who knows?
Speaking of someone failing at a character, Adrian, Nicholas Holt, he's playing Lex Luthor in Superman. Okay. Now, so far, what I've seen from him, I'm also not, I would say you're a bigger fan of Lex Luthor than I am.
Okay.
I've not been offended at what I've seen of him so far.
I'm not a fan of Lex Luthor as much as I understand why in the comics why he does what he does.
Okay. All right. So you know more about him than I do.
Okay. That's fair. That might be fair.
Do you like him as a villain?
I don't really think about it like that.
Like if you put
I think he's a useful villain. I think he's as useful to Superman as the Joker is to Batman.
Okay. But if you were putting together, we've done lists here before. Hey, top 10 villains in comics. Would Luthor be on yours or probably not?
Yeah.
Probably would. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we've only seen glimpses of Nicholas Holt as Luthor in this trailer. So far, what you've seen of him, do you think he's embodying that character, or does it feel off?
I do not. It feels off.
Okay. Because of the look, the size, the presence. Looks a little skinny to be Lex Luthor.
Well, Luthor is his younger days.
Yeah.
He's thinner.
Okay.
But Luthor is also, he bulks up though. Luthor is kind of like, he's not as big as the Kingpin.
Yeah.
But he is misleadingly athletic.
Yeah.
And strong.
Close to Bruce Wayne maybe or no? A little smaller?
Yeah, I would say a little smaller than Bruce Wayne, but he's definitely the muscle is under there.
Yeah.
The way he carries himself is kind of a facade. He makes himself off like a businessman, but he's very capable.
But Jesse Eisenberg was horrible. He was a scrawny, long-haired fuck.
Well, him being Jesse Eisenberg, it wasn't his look as much as his mania, his act.
Yeah.
His version of Luthor was just completely off.
Right. His portrayal was weird.
Right. Because the best Luthor to me was the kid in Smallville. And he was skinny. He was bald.
Yeah.
So I thought he was an excellent Luthor.
Got it.
But they wrote him off for whatever reason.
Of course. Why not? So anyway, Nicholas Holt, he's at that 2-character limit, Adrian. He played Beast in the First Class X-Men series.
Didn't like him as that either.
I could not stand his Beast. It just, the makeup looked like Teen Wolf.
Yes.
Gone bad. Teen Wolf dyed blue. It just...
Yeah.
And he wasn't a good Beast in my opinion. I didn't like his Hank McCoy either. And some of it was the writing. They made him that Peter Parker-esque dork.
Well, no, I think it's worse than that. It's like they made him like he was sorry for himself.
Yeah.
He always looked like he's like, you see a dog, right, in a house, in a room, and then the owner comes home and it starts, going sideways and, its ass and his face is at the same point, like a U-shaped. That's that character, his Hank Pym. His Hank character always looked like he was feeling sorry for himself.
Right. And dude, the Beast is a badass character.
Yeah.
He's badass. He's cool as shit. He's a poet. And if you read the comics or in the animated series, he fucking talks like Shakespeare.
Correct.
I did not get that from this guy.
No.
I really liked Kelsey Grammer's Beast.
Sure.
That was probably one of the high spots of that X-Men 3 movie, The Last Stand. That shit was all over the place, but it had some high spots. So they asked Beast because, with Secret Wars, dude, everyone's returning, right? Or Doomsday.
Sure.
We have heard that Kelsey Grammer will be back as Beast in Doomsday, which I'm a big fan of. They asked Nicholas Holt if Marvel Studios reached out about returning for the next Avengers movie, and he bluntly replied, no. So thank you, Marvel, for not inviting him back. Hey, it's not a knock on him as an actor. It's just a knock on him as acting as Beast.
Correct.
So I am all for this news. I'm going to jump ahead. Guess what? I'm going to give it a thumbs up in a few minutes.
There you go.
All right, last piece of news. Marvel Rivals, Adrian, they're headed to San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Okay.
So Marvel, the MCU, they're actually sitting out at Comic-Con this year because they got nothing to show, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard at work on Doomsday, so
Sure.
I get it. They had the big reveal last year with Robert Downey.
Mm-hmm.
But Marvel Rivals, they're doing a kind of special exhibit at San Diego Comic-Con. They're going to have some things at the a hotel close by where you can go play, a whole experience. So that's part of the news. But the other news is they're introducing 2 new characters. One on July 11th, and the Marvel Rivals game studio, they committed to 1 new character every month, and they have hit that. And I've read this somewhere. They believe they'll never run out of characters, which
absolutely.
I don't think they will either.
No.
And because they do a good job of mixing up like top brand name characters or people you've never heard of, like Squirrel Girl's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe Squirrel Girl could fight a Possum Girl that we thought about earlier. I don't know. But Squirrel Girl's in there, Jeff the Land Shark,
Wow.
right? But then you have Ultron was added recently,
Right.
Emma Frost, and dude, like Cyclops isn't even in the game yet. Gambit's not in the game yet. Rogue's not in there yet. There's so many characters that haven't even. So
if they did what they did with Emma Frost, I'm curious what they would do with someone like Spider-Woman.
oh yeah, like the real Spider-Woman, not
Yeah.
the one they changed for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be amazing. So they are introducing Jean Grey though on the 11th.
Okay.
Phoenix, I got a little video we're gonna check out here, and then the next character after Jean Grey, maybe this will get you to play the game, Adrian, because it's a character you've talked about. We talked about Sinners, the whole vampire thing. They're adding Blade to the game.
Okay.
So
Is that a black thing?
Yes, I figured now there's a black player in the game. That's where you were holding out, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's all
okay.
right there.
Speaking of, Storm's in the game, Black Panther's in the game. There's a couple, dude. There's a couple, okay? But Blade looks like it's gonna be fun. We don't know what class Blade's gonna be. He looks like a tank because of how bulky he is,
Right.
which would make. I mean, he could play either or. He could be a big bulky guy and he's got the sword.
I would think something like somebody like a Power Man would be a tank.
Yes, yeah,
as opposed to Blade.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few tanks that are like Emma Frost a tank.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Just because of her power level?
Yeah, I think it's because of their abilities too. So Blade, I think, is one, like Cap's a tank.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as big as Hulk and Thor in the game,
right?
But his attacks, and with this game, there's characters that kind of walk the line. Like I would say Cap is like 60% tank and like 40% DPS because he's quicker than the other tanks.
Got it.
So I think Blade could be, and also because the game they have way more DPS. Those are the damage. They have way more of those characters than any other class.
Got it.
That's where like Spider-Man, Iron Man, fucking Scarlet Witch, all these people in there. So anyways,
interesting.
Is that going to get you to, no?
No.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed. But y'all let me know if y'all still playing Rivals. I still play. I don't play as much as I used to. There's a thing called Battle Pass. You ever heard of Battle Pass?
Mm-mm.
So in these games, like you can unlock skins and things of that nature. And you have to move through. Battle Pass is like, think of a timeline. And when you get this many XP points, you unlock this. And then you have to keep kind of climbing up this ladder. So the last part of this Battle Pass is a Cloak and Dagger skin. That's pretty cool. So you can tell people who are playing, like, you know if they got that skin, they got to the end of the Battle Pass. So it means they're putting in some work. They're putting some time. They're putting down some glizzies. Anyways, so the Marvel Rivals head into San Diego Comic-Con. That is July 24th through the 27th. And they're going to have this Rivals Expo or whatever on the 25th. So looking forward to that. All right, let's wrap up. Thumbs up, let's wrap up. Hey, guys, cut that out. Don't fucking make me look stupid in front of everyone again this week. They never cut anything out. What the fuck are they doing in there?
Comedians back there, dude.
Seriously. Anyways, let's wrap up the news and rumors, Adrian. A little thumbs up, thumbs down. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. The Daily Beast fucks up and posts a review early of Superman, and it's not a good one, calling the movie superficial and silly. I guess a thumbs down, dude. I don't think they did it accidentally. I don't.
I give it a thumbs up. I think it's funny.
Rotten Tomatoes recently polled its users, some of them, not us, and determined that Superman is the most anticipated movie in the month of July, with Jurassic World Rebirth being number 2. I guess a thumbs down.
Yeah,
dude.
thumbs down.
I think it's flawed, just like their review process.
Yep.
They deleted some reviews for Ironheart because they had somehow allowed people to review it early before the show even dropped, and they went back and finally deleted some of those. So, anyways, it's confirmed, Adrian, the king of the moloids himself, the Mole Man, will be featured in the Fantastic Four first test. I guess thumbs up, dude. Mole Man on the big screen.
Thumbs down. Useless.
And we provided some alternatives. So if Foxman shows up in that shit, then you think we'll get a check then?
No, you won't at all. You get a box with the turds will still be steaming.
Perfect. James Gunn says another Batman script is on its way before the end of the year. He expects the script for the DCU's Brave and the Bold before the year ends. I guess a thumbs up to him.
Thumbs up. He'll get a double thumbs up. He put the next Creature Commandos out.
Oh, yes. That is, I don't know when it is been confirmed.
Yeah.
So at least that will continue. So, hey, if everything falls apart in the DCU, at least we'll have the animation.
There you go.
Creature Commandos was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good show. Nicholas Holt says that Marvel has not reached out to him in regards to returning as Beast in the next Avengers movie because they fucking shouldn't. Thumbs up.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
I'm on it today, dude. Marvel Rivals heads to San Diego Comic-Con this year as Season 3 starts on July 11th and introduces Phoenix/Jean Grey with Blade to follow next month. Thumbs up, dude.
Thumbs up. Well, thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me.
Well, if they are cutting out the Comic-Con, that means that, like you said, they're busy.
Yes.
So they're perfecting their craft, and I'm always good with people that will sacrifice one thing to make something else
correct.
Better.
Yeah, that's the other part. The Marvel Studios will not be at Comic-Con, which I agree with you.
Yeah.
Hey, take your time to put the work in. I mean, we don't want Doomsday pushed back anymore, unless you need to, but probably not. All right, so that is thumbs up, thumbs down. Let us know if you agree with what we said or not, and we really don't care either way, But hey, shout out. I care. Adrian cares today. No,
I don't.
And shout out to all the interns out there, the Legion of Interns. As they all say, AWAB, Adrian, another week, another banger. We are back. So I want to talk a little bit about Superman because is it fair to say that you probably like the character more than I do, Superman?
I am unsure how to gauge that, but I will say I do like Superman as a character. He is one of my favorite characters.
Okay, well then you definitely like him more than me because he is not one of my favorite characters. Believe it or not, Adrian.
Why is that?
I just never got into Superman. I don't like the Boy Scout-esque attitude. I just think he's a boring character. Like his origin, his powers, it's just, he's got all this power, but he has this self-cap where he fucking does nothing with it. It irritates me, honestly.
Okay, well, it's interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
So maybe the hidden gem will change your mind.
Oh, shit.
About old Clarky boy.
Okay. Now, I'm hoping that this movie that comes out this week changes my mind too, honestly.
It won't.
Okay. But I did some research. So I pulled some research. I haven't even dug through this yet because I wanted to do this live here with you, Adrian. So maybe after reading through this, maybe I'll like Superman a little more. Okay. I don't know. And just the whole the weakness, the kryptonite, like this green fucking rock that everybody sees to have their hand.
Everybody has.
Dude, you can find that more than you can find a damn can of Coke in the store, dude.
Exactly. Open box of Cracker Jacks. Kryptonite.
It's everywhere, dude. Like fentanyl. Anyways, so here's the deal. Superman, Kal-El, his real name, was born on Krypton, right? Jor-El and Laura's parents. Earth name's Clark Kent. He was adopted, we all know, by Jonathan and Kent in Smallville, Kansas, right? Good old Smallville. You mentioned Smallville, the show. I actually did like the Smallville show. So Jor-El sends his baby to Earth, right? Their planet's exploding, yada, yada, yada. The sunlight here supercharges him. He's raised by humans, and he becomes Earth's greatest protector. In a nutshell, right? It's his story. We've seen this time in and time out. But I pulled his power set. So Superman's powers comes from absorbing yellow sun radiation, right? Under yellow or blue sun, he's basically a god. Isn't there some suns that like he weakens him or something? Red sun or some shit like that?
Red makes him naughty.
Okay.
there's other wavelengths
Got it.
that do different things.
But yellow and blue is he's godlike.
Yeah.
Right? Super strength. You've mentioned this several times here. You can bench press planets, faster than light in some versions, super speed. He flies effortless, no tech needed. He just moves around. Heat vision, got those eye lasers, which Homelander has as well.
Yep.
I think Homelander uses them better, though. I don't know. Super hearing. Now, he does have some cool powers.
Sure.
I will admit. I think the issue, too, is maybe it's not even Superman the character. Maybe it's more the fact that it's been a long time since anyone's got Superman right in live action.
I think that's the issue.
Like, you know, I can see why some people like Man of Steel as a movie, but I don't even know, and maybe I'll ask you later, if we could say that Zack Snyder did a good job of embodying the Superman character on screen. I don't think he did. You're shaking your head, so I don't think it's
Nope, he did not. What I liked about the movie was the reimagining of, because I had Brendan Routh. He was a skinny version of a Superman.
He was just like a Christopher Reeves.
So he would be like a year 2 Batman. So
okay.
So let's call him like a year 2 Superman, right? Even though he supposedly was matured. I just liked Cavill's look, as he looked more Superman-esque.
Yes.
Than pretty much anybody since Christopher Reeves.
I agree with that. He definitely nailed the look.
Right.
And I think he did a great job with what was given to him.
Correct.
It was just more the Snyder effect, as I'm calling it. Okay. All right. So he's got the heat vision. He's got X-ray vision.
Yep.
He can see through everything except lead, apparently. Super hearing. He can hear a pin drop in another galaxy.
Don't forget the microvision and the telescopic vision.
Okay. Freeze breath as well. He can cool stars or stop lava. Longevity. He's practically immortal in some comic book runs. And he's, genius level intellect. Not Batman smart, but close.
Well, he's not genius level.
I think that's bullshit.
And he's not practically immortal. He's long-lived.
Okay.
Diana is immortal.
Got it.
You know, people get that fucked up.
And he has a healing factor.
Yep.
Not Wolverine level, but it's pretty good. Pretty good healing factor.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of things that I don't think we've really seen in these movies.
Well, his healing factor apparently requires a wild-haired terrier to drag his ass across the planet to go somewhere and heal.
Maybe it works differently when it's snowing out.
Right. So no, not Wolverine level or Hulk level.
No, not at all. Or even Spider-Man level. Another one we don't really see.
Right.
It's like, do they think that we can only handle one healing person on screen? Like Wolverine gets all the credit for healing when Hulk and Spider-Man, they're right up there.
People don't understand. Well, I'm not saying people in general, but it's you got to understand that if you can resist a lot of impact bullets, it might not be that you resist them like they bounce off of you like Superman. It could be that you heal fast enough that the bullets don't necessarily impact, can slow you down. So if you can resist a bunch of concussion, compression, bullets, explosion, probably have a healing factor.
Yeah. So I pulled up some of the most crazy feats that Superman, not like his feet, like feats in the comics.
You got a foot thing?
Yeah, for Superman. Those alien feet, bro, they get me, He once held a black hole in his hand, okay? Dragged a chain of planets, outflew death itself. This was in Justice League Heaven's Ladder. Tore Doomsday in half. Let's see. Held the weight of the earth for 5 days. Didn't even flinch. Beat Darkseid, Shazam, Captain Atom, and Brainiac. So he's done some shit, dude.
Right.
Got some weaknesses. We mentioned Kryptonite, right? There's different color Kryptonite, too. They have different effects. But the green one's one we always see. Red sun radiation takes away his powers like flipping a switch. Magic. He's not immune. Magic punches and shit would hurt him.
Right.
So
he's susceptible.
Yes. Like, if I hit him, nothing's going to happen. Well, if you throw, I believe if you throw a juice box at the back of his head, he'll flinch.
Yes.
In the first trailer.
Yeah. Yes.
He also, psychic attacks. Telepaths can mess with him a little bit without prep.
Psychic mental attacks in general. You know how many times this dude's been taken over?
Yeah.
I mean, by plants, and I'm not even talking about Ivy.
Right.
Just a fucking plant.
Yeah. I mean, one of the comics we talk a lot about here in Hush, Ivy does take over him with, a little bit of that green lipstick, dude.
That's it.
He's got this moral code. It is listed as a weakness because he will not kill unless Zack Snyder writes him. We'll talk about that later.
Or he gets introduced to the Joker.
That too. And overload. Too much power too fast can overwhelm him or distort him. So if you get someone who's crazy, crazy powerful, they could, throw him off a little bit, allegedly. All right. So, I mean, he does sound like a pretty badass character.
Yeah.
I do think the more I talk through it, I think it's the portrayals that I've seen. Like, I liked the Christopher Reeve Superman as a kid, maybe because that's all we had, right? I mean, it came out probably, what was it, 78 maybe? Which was a few years before I was born. But it was one of those, like, when these movies hit syndication, they're on TV every fucking Saturday afternoon. So I seen that movie a handful of times as a kid. And I did think he was cool, but I always leaned more towards the Batman. All right, so that's his power set. I wanted to just kind of throw something at you, Adrian.
Yeah.
We used to do a segment here called Versus. And, next March, when March Madness picks up again, we're going to do a team versus. But I wanted to do a versus off the cuff, so I didn't even tell you about this one. Superman versus Black Adam. I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say Black Adam wins, right? Or are you? Maybe I don't know.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Let's go through it. So, power source breakdown. We've talked a lot about Superman's powers, powered by yellow sun, strength, speed, flight, heat vision, etc. Black Adam, he's powered by Egyptian gods via magic. Strength of Shu. I don't know who Shu is. Speed of Haru. Oh, probably different gods, right?
Different gods, right.
But essentially, super strength, super speed, power, wisdom, courage, stamina, and magic, which Superman's weak to. So forget about who wins. We'll get to that. But in a straight up fight, if Batman punches Superman in the face, nothing's going to happen. If Black Adam punches him in the face, he's going to feel it.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yep.
All right. You a fan of Black Adam?
Yeah.
Not obviously not just the movie, but the character itself, like Correct. Comics. Yep. Why do you like Black Adam?
Because it's almost like Black Adam is what you want Superman to be. Pretty much.
Yeah. He's got no filters.
Correct.
I know a lot of people hate this movie, Black Adam. I liked it probably because of that. Because first of all, you got The Rock, who is the size of Black Adam. Like,
Correct.
He didn't have to wear padding. That was something cool about Henry Cavill too. Dude was jacked.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when he was walking around as Clark Kent, shirt off in the rain, you fuck, this dude looks like Superman. Just paint him. And The Rock, same deal, is massive. Matter of fact, the first suit he tried on had padding, and he's like, "You take that shit out."
Right.
They took it out, and he looked the part.
Absolutely.
I loved his attitude in that movie. Like, it was one scene where the guy's like, "Heroes don't kill." He's like, "Yeah, well, I do." Like, he didn't give a fuck.
Right.
Superman gives too many fucks, I think.
He does.
So strength in combat. Raw strength. Superman has the edge. Do you believe he's stronger?
I believe so.
Now, Black Adam has the magic, so that's going to make, I guess, what effect would the magic have on, outside of he's going to feel his punches and things like that? Does it weaken Superman at all?
I do. I think it weakens him in the sense that, like, if somebody punch you in the face, it's debilitating.
Okay.
And I think that's the effect. And it's like a sharp, acute impact on Superman. It's not like it drains his power away from him, but it's debilitating.
Okay. Combat skills. Superman, now I guess it all depends at what point in, comic canon, because he does learn, but basic Superman is not a trained fighter.
He is not.
He's someone who grew up on Earth. He's a brawler, he's described as.
Yes.
He don't know no martial arts and shit, but as strong as he is, he almost doesn't really need to.
Well, that's his problem.
Right.
And that's also kind of his Achilles heel, but that's what makes him like less popular
Mm-hmm.
because without that, he's Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right. He's like the dumb jock almost. You're big and strong, but you can't do shit else, bro.
I mean,
like,
he would be the equivalent of a Thing. Not actually. The Thing has more combat skills because Thing was like a boxer, things like that.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody that he would be. He literally, without his powers, would be nothing.
Right. He'd be Alfred. Not even Alfred. Alfred would whip his ass.
Yeah. Alfred was a Green Beret, right?
Yeah, he'd whip his ass. Shit. He'd be like Jarvis, like the original Jarvis from the comics. All right. So combat skill. Black Adam's been fighting for thousands of years. Yep. So I think he's got the advantage. Combat skill. Superman's a little bit stronger. Black Adam has the magic and combat skill. Black Adam's got the edge. It would be it'd be one of those where I don't know, 7 times it would go to Black Adam. Like it wouldn't be clear cut every time you get your ass whooped.
Right. Because remember, I mean, the one thing people lean on when it comes to Superman is his speed and his strength. He might have Black Adam on the strength because, and we'll get into this in the hidden gem, but one of the versions of, which is a hint, one of the versions of Superman can lift or bench press. Now, again, we talked about what does strength mean in comic books, and that's the ability to lift something above your head, which is a lot harder than bench pressing something.
Correct.
So he was able to lift 200 quintillion tons.
Damn.
Right? Whatever that number is, all I know is it's more than a billion, more than a trillion, and there's a whole bunch of zeros. So, but people lean on his strength. Well, strength doesn't win every war.
Right.
And I think one of the big advantages as speed wise, I think, Black Adam probably a little slower than him too on the speed thing, but the magic alone and his determination, would give him the edge, like you said. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about speed. So again, this is according to AI, so it could be wrong, but now Superman pretty fast. Pretty fast. He's fast as fuck. He's blitzed the Flash before. That was rare though. It's not like Flash is faster than Superman.
Yes.
Right. Like Black Adam keeps up with Shazam. Now Shazam, Black Adam, kind of same league, right? According to ChatGPT, Black Adam has a slight edge to Superman in pure speed, especially in space. So for whatever that's worth.
Okay.
You think Superman's faster or?
I've seen him do some crazy stuff. Could be. So if that's the case, then that nullifies the speed, right? Well, hold on. Their speed and their swiftness.
Okay.
Right. So, we talk about like Spider-Man. Spider-Man, his reflexes are insane.
Right.
He probably can't run that fast. Right.
Right.
Flash is the epitome of what we think of as speed. He can outrun light, but his reflexes are insane. Right. Now, is Black Adam's reflexes as fast as he is capable of moving straight in a straight path?
Okay.
Because Superman can literally move through space,
right?
Instantaneous, as fast as he can fly.
Yeah.
Now, can Black Adam do that as well? If he can, then the speed is nullified. So now you pretty much have willpower and magic versus heat vision and cold breath.
Right. And Black Adam, in some of his attacks, he has these like magical blasts. He has lightning, right? Like he can produce lightning from his body.
Correct.
Superman, and here's where I think the answer lies in this part of it, the mental game.
Yes.
Superman holds back a lot.
Yep.
Right? Like even you talking about Spider-Man, Spider-Man holds back like crazy. He's one that it wouldn't be a hidden gem but we should probably do a segment like this because people lose sight of Spider-Man's power set. We've touched on this here, how strong. Dude, he's stronger than Captain America. Oh,
by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, like insane.
He's like 10 times stronger than Captain America.
Like him going toe-to-toe with the Hulk is not crazy. When you add all, not pure strength-wise.
He can't, obviously Captain America can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk, but so what does that mean?
Right. Spider-Man, I'm saying.
No, what I'm saying is Captain America can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk. That doesn't mean, Spider-Man can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk. It looks a lot different.
Right.
Right. So first of all, Cap would be using his shield a lot to defend himself from getting hit because people also don't understand how quick the Hulk is.
Right.
Also,
yeah,
Spider-Man can be all over the Hulk.
Shit.
Hulk could. I mean, he has, but the Hulk wouldn't be able to touch him.
right.
Besides the spider senses, his reflexes, he'd be able to move out of the way. But the Hulk is quick.
He is.
So going toe to toe with the Hulk, it means different things with different people. But Spider-Man is like, so Captain America is supposedly like Olympic level strength with the unlimited stamina. Now that means a lot.
Yes.
But Olympic level strength is like being able to lift
His
800 pounds.
strength is capped, though.
Right, 800 pounds.
Right.
That's the range. 800 pounds to like half a ton or 1,000 pounds. Spider-Man is 10 to 15 tons. So 20 times more than Captain America.
What's Hulk's,
Oh, when he's asleep, it's 100 tons.
Got it.
And then it just grows from there.
Yeah. But it's always funny with Spider-Man because people get caught up in the webs and the reflexes.
And sticking to walls.
Yeah. Dude is stronger than most characters. Like, there aren't many characters that one-on-one fight are going to beat Spider-Man.
No.
And I think that's lost a lot because we see a lot of like the origin Spider-Man where he's learning, he's getting beat up, but I don't think they've done a great job of portraying how powerful Spider-Man really is on screen.
Yeah.
All right, so mental games. Superman holds back. Black Adam does not hold back.
He does not.
He goes for the kill, dude. He could, I say my nickname here is the Unaliver. He could be the Unaliver.
Yeah.
Because he don't give a fuck. He's brutal. He's efficient. So, blood feud, these guys fighting to the death. I'd give the edge to Black Adam, dude.
I agree. Because Black Adam would fight to the death.
Correct.
And Superman probably would not.
Right. Now, there are ways, we've seen this done in movies and comics where the person, Superman, who's not fighting to the death can still defeat the person who is, right?
Sure.
So I don't think it's a flat out, Black Adam wins 10 out of 10 times. I mean, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10.
Right.
Like
it would be insane.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a compare. It definitely wouldn't be 50-50.
Right.
I mean, Superman has I think it's an infinite version of the Superman. Again, the hidden gem stuff. He has pretended to, because he went up this group of superpower beings and they were like destroying stuff and so on and so forth. So he pretended to go mad and get angry, but it was just a ruse. He still didn't really kill anybody. He pretended to kill somebody by, making them disappear, go away, or doing some kind of trickery. But it was all just to get to this one individual and depower him. So even in that, he's calculating, how can I get this done without killing you, which takes time. And Black Adam is just like, you're gone.
Right.
You are unalived.
Yes, absolutely. So they fought a handful of times in the comics. This was the 3 that were pointed out here. Superman, Shazam, First Thunder. Superman, he struggles with Black Adam. He needs some backup. Okay. Sure. World War III. Black Adam goes full rage mode, wrecks everyone, but Superman holds him off long enough for containment. So that's what I'm talking about. You can hold them off, and so it's not, 10 out of 10. And then in Doomsday Clock, Superman shrugs off the magical attacks because he's now evolved past it. So I guess it depends on who's writing.
Correct.
Right? There are some versions of Superman where the magic ain't going to do much, right? So if it's that Superman, Black Adam might be fucked.
Right.
So, but it would be a fun fight. That was teased in the DC EU before that whole fucking universe was unalived. So one thing that we didn't get that we should have,
Right.
Anyway, so I'm saying Black Adam wins most of the time.
I would agree with that.
All right. You guys let us know. If you don't agree, you can tell us how we're wrong. And that's not how it works. And you don't say that about Superman. And guess what? You can shut the fuck up. Or not. Whatever. We'll keep doing what we do here. Because as Cap says, Adrian, I can do this all day.
Right.
We got to get that as a sound effect when people are talking shit. Because,
that's it.
You guys, you stop doing pot. Like, bro, we ain't going nowhere. You can either like it or move the fuck on.
There you go.
All right. So, our new segment. Finally! This is where I finally watch a movie that you, Adrian, and everyone else seems to have seen. Believe it or not, I've never sat down and watched the entire movie Man of Steel from beginning to end until this past weekend. Okay. You believe that? Well, now you do.
Yeah, I do, actually.
But I mean, it's funny because I think the more that we've been doing this show, the more you've learned, more we learned about each other, right?
Sure.
And you've learned that I've not seen most movies.
Yeah.
I am, as I call it, movie bougie.
Okay.
If a movie is not known to be critically acclaimed, a lot of times I don't even want to fuck with it. So now I'm trying to let off on that. It's just like I've been burned too many times, you know?
Okay.
You get told the movie's good. You get told to check it out. You spend your hard-earned dollars on that movie, and then it becomes a giant fucking turd.
That.
Like, I remember, did you ever collect VHS, DVDs, anything like that?
Sure.
Yeah. I remember back when DVDs were big, they would release new DVDs every Tuesday. And this was like, dude, long before kids, and it was just me and my wife. So we'd take a weekly trip to back in the Walmart days, dude. Get some shopping, get some stuff. And we always would hit the DVD section and buy like, 1 to 2 DVDs. Whatever came out that week, we'd pick the best couple movies, buy them, and watch them.
Okay.
A lot of times they weren't that good. Sometimes they were really good. This was, before the MCU, all that good stuff. And so you said you did collect VHS, DVDs?
VHS.
Either one. VHS to the cassette. Or DVDs.
Okay,
yes.
you made it sound like it's one thing. I'm like, I was confused there for a second. Both, actually.
Okay.
I've bought both.
Got it. Were you like a new week, go by or it was...
Nah, definitely not.
Okay.
It would definitely have to be something that I've already seen.
Okay.
Which means that I probably rented it or seen it in a theater. I like it so much, I'm going to go buy it.
Okay. Were you a big movie renter?
I wouldn't say a big movie renter because from my understanding about that fictitious company Blockbuster,
what's that?
Was like people would be like bribing the dudes behind the register. Yo, dude, when the movie come out, put mine aside.
Right.
Here's $5. So I wasn't that person.
Okay.
I was that schmuck that showed up and like, damn, that movie's gone. Then I have to wait 6 more weeks.
Okay. Dude, my I'm an 80s baby, Adrian.
Yeah.
Born in 85. My generation was the Friday night Blockbuster. Whatever's new, get a couple movies, maybe rent the game, get some Pizza Hut, get some, some shitty soda like Surge. Remember Surge back in the day?
No, not at all.
It was like a Mountain Dew on crack. That some RC Cola, bro. That was some good stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was not good.
I loved it, dude. And then, my favorite, dude, Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
Get some Pizza Hut, get some Domino's, some shitty ass food, play some GoldenEye, and rent the latest movie. So
got it.
Nowadays, though, everything's on streaming. So I'm making an effort. I say all that to say I'm making an effort to watch more of these movies that I may have missed out on, okay. For this segment here. So I finally watched Man of Steel, and I have some thoughts, okay? So this movie came out in 2013. I'll say this. The beginning of the movie, the birth, the whole trip to Earth, all that stuff looked really cool.
Yep.
I think it was a better looking, shorter version of the same origin of the Christopher Reeves movies.
Yeah.
That was more drawn out and looked like dog shat. Now.
Yeah.
But so it's funny that part was not as boring and drawn out. The best way to describe this movie as a whole is boring and drawn out. It was a fucking boring ass movie for me.
Okay. I
feel like it focuses on a time of Superman's life that nobody gives a fuck about.
Okay.
It focuses on kind of after the origin because we don't see much of him as a kid. Okay, that's fine. But it's pre-Clark working at the Daily Planet. It's pre-Clark and Lois. It's like they're meeting. And to me, it was not that interesting of a time. I didn't care. I found myself in the movie like, I don't give a fuck about anyone in this movie right now. There was a lot of unnecessary backstory. Now, a couple good things. I do agree that Henry Cavill looks the part probably better than anyone has of Superman so far. Even Christopher Reeve's the OG.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
Just like I said, and this is what pisses me off about the DCEU. You had Ben Affleck, who looks like you took Bruce Wayne out of the comic book and threw him on your screen, the older Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And then you had Henry Cavill, who, the same thing, looks like you took Superman that somebody drew and threw him on the screen.
Correct.
And you fucked that up. 6 ways from Sunday, as they say.
Agree.
Yes. Yeah, we're not even on agree to disagree yet, but you agree. But I will say the fights were cool. The powers looked fucking awesome. Superman moving through space like you talked about. That was done phenomenally.
I like the Black Adam movement better than the Superman movement.
Yeah, it's like they perfected what they started here. You can, it's very similar though.
Yes.
The way how quick he is, like he ain't moving, but he's moving type shit, you know? And the fights, they were cool, dude. I mean, you had Zod, who we big General Zod guy before this movie.
I
didn't even know.
No, not a fan, but he was integral to everything that happened to Superman and Krypton and so on and so forth.
Okay, so it made sense that
Zod is the reason that we understand the Phantom Zone.
Got it. Okay. Would you like this guy's portrayal of Zod?
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was a shame that they brought him back for the Flash, and he like didn't even say anything. Like he was barely in the movie. Anyways,
he became Doom.
What did he?
Yeah.
And which one?
I don't fucking know. The one where they had to resurrect him or whatever. They were trying to resurrect Clark after that was
Doomsday.
before that. Yeah, Doomsday.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. He became that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Batman vs Superman. Yes. I'm sorry, you said Doom, and I was thinking of like the better Doom, Victor Von Doom. But yes, he was. He was in Batman vs Superman. So, and then the killing of Zod. I knew about this because, like I said, I've seen most of this movie, but never all in one. And that is an issue that a lot of diehard DC fans have with this movie is why is Superman killing Zod? How'd you feel about Superman snapping Zod's neck in this movie?
The way they portrayed it, which is, what they do, they make it seem like it's necessary.
Yeah.
He was about to do some bad stuff.
But he couldn't stop him from...
All right,
we talked about his power.
First of all, I don't understand how Zod, who just showing up, has more experience with his power than Superman does. You know, that speaks volumes by itself. Now,
but you don't think he should? Wasn't he around? Because he fought Superman's dad in this movie and killed him.
Yeah, but they were just two men.
Yeah.
Because remember, on Krypton, they're just normal people.
Right.
They don't have powers per se. So
I see what you're saying.
Two men on Krypton and then two Kryptonians on Earth is the same thing. Gotcha. It's not like Superman is stronger than Zod.
Right, right.
But, they have military training, which Superman does not. But Superman should have had more experience with his powers. He did,
yeah. We saw him learn how to fly and all that. That part was cool too. Him flying through the snow and all that shit.
So what I'm saying is when he starts turning his neck to kill people, that doesn't necessarily mean that he could have stopped him from doing that.
Right.
So
that's where, because I remember reading that, the way they wrote is kind of like what you said. He was in a situation where he had no choice. But watching it, I'm like, you mean to tell me he couldn't just block the fucking laser rays and move my man out the way? He's getting ready to kill some people. Yeah, I know, but isn't Superman pretty damn strong?
Yeah, it's like in what was it? Not Hitch. Was it Hitch? Yeah, Hitch. No, it wasn't Hitch. Well, my man's Will Smith playing the superhero.
Oh, Hancock.
Hancock.
Yes.
When he came and like stopped the train went all over the thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, why couldn't you just go up?
Right.
But so he could have just put his hand over the guy's eyes and whatever.
So as we say here, Adrian, the math wasn't mathing for me because Superman is the Boy Scout. He's the guy who's not gonna kill. And at least if you're gonna make him kill, put him in a spot where it really is that or nothing.
Right.
I'm like, as strong as he is, you couldn't. Now, if I'm strong enough to snap your neck.
I was going to say that. If you're strong enough to snap his neck, you're strong enough to keep his head from moving.
Thank you. So, no, the math ain't mathing. I think that was ridiculous. I think it's lazy when. Now, you can argue that you don't like the no-kill rule, things like that, but it exists.
Sure.
Right? I think it's lazy writing when you take a character that's part of his makeup, that's who he is, and you change that for the plot.
Right.
Come up with a better way for him to stop Zod.
Or stop Ben Affleck Batman from murdering the whole town.
Same thing, right? He just dropped, boom, boom, kill this one, kill that one. Like, dude, is he the Punisher in the bat suit or is he Batman? What are we doing here? So for some reason, Zack Snyder, if he's writing a character that doesn't kill, he's going to kill in the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
But I guess what we can do is we can thank him for killing the Snyderverse. See what I did there?
There you go.
So yeah, I don't think I don't glaze this movie as much as now you like this movie.
Yeah.
After I just shat all over it, but what do you like about this movie?
First of all, that Cavill's in it.
Yep.
He kind of rebooted the idea of what Superman should look like.
Okay.
Because remember, before him, it was Ralph.
Right.
You know, skinny Superman.
Yep.
The thing I like about the Ralph version of Superman was that, you know, he was getting booty, had a baby. He was drinking.
Yep.
He was having sex. You know, so he was doing the things that you never saw Superman do before.
Right.
Right.
He was later he was a more matured Superman, right?
Yes, the way they portrayed him, even though he looked like a year or two Superman.
Yeah.
Because he had went away for some years to find Krypton and so, and then he came back. So that was the premise of the movie.
I might have to. You believe it or not, I've never seen that one either.
That's okay. That's okay. But when Cavill came back, when Cavill brought Superman back, it was like, okay, this guy embodies what Superman should look like. So that's one. Number two, I did like the way they did the history, you know, Krypton and so on and so forth. I thought that was a little drawn out. That was, you know, probably because of the actor.
Oh yeah.
You know, they had to give him, you know, 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. And then he ended up being through the rest of the movie as an AI.
Right.
But anyway,
Russell
that was
Crowe.
cool. Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I did like the way they did that. Also, like, you know, the flashbacks.
Yeah.
They didn't do the whole history all at once. They kind of did flashbacks, which I liked. I didn't like the whole Zod fighting thing. It's like the world gets introduced to Superman and then Zod shows up.
Right.
So it's like, damn.
And the world's kind of catering to Zod. Like, yo, turn yourself into that guy. Like, what gives the world more trust in Zod than Superman, who's been here for 33 years?
Yeah.
But
hey. But I mean, it was cool to see him discover his powers. It was cool that because in most places, you know, he has this glass crystal, he throws it into Antarctica, it turns into this thing. He actually found a ship that had been there for thousands and thousands of years, which means that also opens up the premise that Kryptonians had been there before, right?
Right.
Which also creates a way for them to come back at some point in the future. So I thought that was cool. You know, instead of creating this ice crystal thingy, you got this cool spaceship that's hanging out for like the last 17,000 years or whatever. But the only thing I didn't really like was, you know, that fight scene at the end. I also didn't like the way Lois basically hunted him down and discovered who he was before he even became the Clark Kent, which blows the whole premise of the fact that, you know, Lois didn't even know who Superman was. Now he shows up and, okay, Superman's here.
Would you say that Superman Returns, that's the Brandon Routh one, is better than Man of Steel?
No.
No, you like Man of Steel better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but I was just happy. The Brandon Routh Superman, the scene I liked most, actually the only scene I liked in the movie was the airplane falling out of the sky scene.
Okay.
So, but I was by that time so desperate for something from these comic book places that it was just cool to see.
Yeah.
But like I said, I will not go see any Superman movie.
Got it. And Brandon Routh, I mean, the Brandon Routh one, I've never seen it, but I know all about it. It's basically it's somewhat of a sequel to the original Superman movie. I think the first or the second, where it's supposed to be that same character, but years later.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, he looks like a Christopher Reeves cosplayer. Not in a bad way.
Okay.
You know, so, but I do want to check that one out. But Man of Steel, so that's my opinion of the movie. I think it was mid, honestly. I didn't hate it. I've seen a lot of movies that are worse, but I'm going back and forth on, was it better or worse than Batman vs. Superman? I don't know, because they both are very uneven.
Yeah.
I think let's just all agree maybe that, you know, there's nothing personal about Zack Snyder, but maybe we keep him away from like these comic characters. I'm just saying, dude.
I'm just saying. I mean, to me, all of that stuff is the same to me. The Superman, the Aquaman, the Wonder Woman, the Justice League. it's all the same to me.
Like same level?
Same. I
Okay.
think so. Same level.
Got
I
it.
mean, there's, some of the shows have more high points, other
Right.
low points, but to me, it's all the same
Yeah.
kind of movie.
Would you say nothing was like top tier? It was all kind of mid or slightly better, or?
I mean, you can pick out some things like after they resurrected Superman and they're fighting the Horn guy
Yeah.
in the Justice League, or the way they redrew Aquaman. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But outside of that, no.
Yeah, I think that's the misconception people get about when I say, I guess, negative things about the Snyderverse. I do believe that the Snyder Cut, the Justice League Snyder Cut, is better than just about all these other movies.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of to your point, that's maybe top tier, and even that is like a 6.5, 6
Right.
maybe. Like I think I would say Snyder Cut's like a 6. This movie's like a 4 or 5. Batman,
Mhm.
it, like nothing was like 7, 8, 9, 10.
Correct.
As a whole, the whole fucking thing pretty much sucked. It was just parts of it sucked less than the other parts that sucked more. Okay, that's how it's going down.
Damn.
Yes. So on that note, Adrian, we're bringing back all the throwbacks today. So you remember a game called What the Fuck Rotten Tomatoes?
I do.
Well, we're gonna play that with Man of Steel. Okay. So this is AKA Critics vs. Audience. So if you're new with us, welcome. If you stood this long, shit, good for you. If you're not, if you're been here every week, you know what we're about to get into. Critics versus Audience. So Rotten Tomatoes, if you don't know, the way they do their scoring is completely fucked.
Mhm.
They have some intern source a bunch of reviews, and then of those reviews, whatever percentage of the reviews are good, that turns into your Rotten Tomatoes critic score. So whatever reviews this intern decided to source today, and then you have the popcorn meter. This is the audience review, where at some point in their existence, Rotten Tomatoes, they decided to smarten up and say, if you're going to review the movie, Adrian, as an audience member, you got to show proof that you actually saw it,
Right.
like with a ticket stub.
Okay.
Apparently, when it's a Disney Plus show like Ironheart, they don't have any requirements. You can fucking review the show 6 months before it's dropped. But, all right, so critics versus audience. I'm going to give you, Adrian, the critic score, the audience score, and we are going to pick, if we had to pick one of these scores, which one do we think is most accurate?
Got it.
The critics gave Man of Steel a 57% score on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score for this same movie is 75%. You already know I'm going critics all day. 57, even that's a little high.
I'm going to go with the audience.
Okay, 75. Okay, leave it on a positive for your boy Soups, for Zack Snyder. So, well, there you have it. That is my Man of Steel review, if you want to call it that. Do I recommend?
Sounds like a Man of You shat up on.
Definitely. Do I want to watch it again? Nope, not at all.
Damn.
It's sad though that they didn't do better with. It's kind of like, if the same shit I said about Ben Affleck's Batman, I can say about Henry Cavill's Superman. Amazing cast.
Absolutely.
The look was amazing. The portrayal of that character with what he was given was great. But God, the people behind the scenes fucked it up.
Right.
So congratulations. You ruined it.
All right. So question. Zack Snyder's, Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yep.
Fantastic Four. Number 3. Galactus.
Oh, God. Fuck. Like the movie itself?
No, the portrayal.
Oh, I love Henry Cavill's portrayal. So
Okay.
But fuck. A movie, Man of Steel, I would, believe it or not, fuck. I'd rather watch Fantastic Four.
Damn.
So, because that's the one with Silver Surfer.
Yep.
It's got the Galactus cloud. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
I'd rather watch Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer than Man of Steel again. Yes.
And that will seem to follow how this Superman Fantastic Four thing is coming out.
You're saying that's like a prediction. Yeah, well, I guess, remains to be seen. But like you said, dude, it's out of nowhere. We're watching Superman this week, and then in like 2 weeks, Fantastic Four. So we will have that answer. So James Gunn, I know you don't want us to compare superhero characters because that's the dumbest conversation in the world. What we are going to do, we're going to watch your movie this week, and then we're going to compare it to Fantastic Four First Steps in a couple weeks. So
Absolutely.
There you go. Man of Steel, do I recommend this? No, definitely not. All right. Moving on, Adrian. Actually, before we get into our review, I got something for you. I got a gift. So if you pull up our super source here. What is that?
Ah, nice.
Dr. Doom
That's
on
what I'm
the
talking
fucking
about.
polar bear. Look
That's
at that.
what I'm talking about. That's the shit right there.
That is the shit.
That's how you enter a room.
Yep. Absolutely. All eyes on you if you're rolling in like that, dude.
That is it.
We're not doing comic moments today because we have a jam-packed show, but I just wanted to show that to you.
Thank you, sir.
Told you,
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. I dug it up, out of the archives. So, and intentionally though. So last week, I referenced the interview that Ryan Coogler did where he talked about the Ironheart show and how they were merging tech with magic.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time when they was working on this show, he didn't realize that, because believe it or not, I don't know if everyone watching understands this, but they don't record the show today and put it out tomorrow like us.
Right.
It takes them, some years sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time when they were first working on this show, I'm pretty sure Kang Dynasty was still the plan.
Sure.
But what was cool, we're going to dig into the review, what was cool about that last episode or the last two was we got to see a version of magic being combined with tech, which is essentially what Doom is.
Yeah.
Right? We've got to see that on screen in a little sample size on the show before we get to Doomsday. So even Ryan Coogler was like, it's pretty cool to work on this knowing that what other character is magic and tech?
Right.
Dr. Doom himself, right?
Yes, sir.
So this show, all right, it's funny that they dropped it in 2-3 episode drops because it felt like two different shows to me.
Absolutely.
Based on the first week, I would say the show was annoying the fuck out of me.
Yep.
Based on the second week, I was like, dude, this was a lot of fun. This was a fucking great show.
Yeah.
And what normally happens, like Secret Invasion is a perfect example. First, if you go back in time, which you could because you can go down the YouTube channel, go to our review of the first episode. I guarantee you that we both were like, this is a fucking good episode. Can't wait for this. And then it got worse and more worse and worser, as the kids say before they know how to speak, and even badder and worser. And then it became an atrocious piece of shit by the end. Fair?
Fair.
The opposite happened with this.
Yes.
The first episode, the most ridiculous. It still stands. We didn't need the MIT scene, obviously, right? Waste of time. Little kid in this waste of time.
Yep.
A lot of this backstory with this stupid crew, the drag queen, the twins that always want to fight, and blah, blah, blah. The one that can't. Waste of time.
Yep.
Then you get to the good shit. I said Hood. I liked Hood. I like this character. I don't know how you feel. I know you weren't crazy. You were kind of on the
was
fence.
not, but the second, third part grew on me.
Yeah. Why?
First of all, that when he transformed, that got me.
Yes.
That got me right there.
Yep.
But his vision was a little more defined.
Yep.
And it wasn't a transformation into Mephisto.
Right.
Right.
That's where you thought they were going.
Yeah, I thought that's where they were going.
Yep.
But the boy was fiending, so I think he's going to be trying to get his shit back.
Oh yeah.
I predict, before we even get into it, I predict he's gonna, even though she probably made a deal with Mephisto, he's going to somehow reverse that because he wants that fentanyl back.
Ah, okay. I liked him from the get-go. I didn't like the whole crew. It just felt like an odd mix of people.
That was a waste. That was a waste.
I just, and not that everything needs to, follow every stereotype, but I don't see that group of people working together. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Well, clearly he didn't either.
Right. Absolutely. Like it made more sense when, and it's not all about race and this, but when Riri had her group, everybody was black.
Yep.
It was her mom, her close route. Like that's normally what happens.
Exactly.
In
it makes sense. It's we talk about organic a lot.
Yeah.
It's like an organic crew.
Right.
As opposed to I'm running out the door, let me grab a bunch of fucking buckets of things and then boom, here's this thing.
It wasn't we got to check every box. It was her mom, her friends who all happened to look just like her.
Right.
Makes sense. If I go to Wakanda in the movie, I don't expect to see Chinese people, black people. I mean, I do white people. Like, let's just make it make sense.
Yeah.
We don't have to check every box, you know? Anyways, so I think that what doesn't get talked about enough is Dominique Thorne's portrayal of Riri. I think she's great, dude.
It took some time.
Yeah, you weren't big in again.
No, because Okay, so the reason I wasn't big on her, it wasn't necessarily her.
Okay.
It was all the stereotypical shit that they wrote in the movie that was distracting me. The body language, the eye rolling, the attitude, the talk back, the scenarios. You ain't shit without a white man behind you.
Yeah.
It's like it was all of that shit that was distracting me, and I felt none of that in the second trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Well, I felt less.
Okay. I like the presence of magic. I like that they're going more supernatural because doing the same thing over and over gets bored, right?
Wanda did it for you, huh?
Huh?
Wanda did it for you.
Dude, yeah. I mean, they started with Wanda.
Exactly.
But that was one of the better elements of the Doctor Strange 2 movie was having Wanda kind of veer more into that supernatural horror element, right? And I think they did a good job with it here with the friend. You know, she happened to she was, I think, a former Carmitage trainee. So she's got some experience to magic. Obviously not as good as Doctor Strange, kind of fucked some things up a little bit. And so let's go to the fight you talk. Actually, no, let's talk about Mephisto's introduction. First of all, when you saw him sitting in the diner, Sacha Baron Cohen, at before they announced who he was, did you know it was Mephisto off the back?
I did not.
You did not. I did.
I did. I thought he was more of just a messenger.
Okay. Dude, how did you feel about his portrayal of Mephisto?
He was spot on, though.
Dude.
For just even as a person that delivers, because the best thing that you can do when you're in power is to appear to not have the ultimate power.
Right.
Right. So that's why I took him as a messenger.
Yeah.
But even as that, spot on.
Yeah. Dude, it was great. He was menacing.
Right.
It was a little eerie.
Yep. Controlling.
Very controlling.
Hey, I need quiet. Let's stop for everybody.
It gave, you know what it reminded me a little bit of? Kilgrave from Jessica Jones. Right? Because you kind of got a skinny, unassuming, like he doesn't look like a physical threat, which makes him, I think, even more menacing because he could literally kill everyone in that diner in a split second if he wanted to. But he's not about that. He's about manipulating, getting what he wants. He's about turning people.
Right, because turning people feeds him, but he does it in a way that is entertaining for him.
Right.
Because like as soon as he gets you, he's off to the next person.
Correct. Which he was playing both sides in that diner,
right?
You know, but I like I think maybe what would have saved the beginning episode. Well, first of all, if you would listen to me, guys, okay, stop making these shows and just make straight to streaming movies. This would have felt much better as a movie.
Yeah.
Cut out the bullshit. Cut out the nonsense. Because all that other stuff became filler because none of it even mattered towards the end.
Correct.
It didn't matter who was on the crew because the crew's gone.
Right.
The characters that matter were Ezekiel Stain, Hood, Riri, and then her ensemble of friends.
Yep.
The rest of them, the MIT person, it didn't fucking matter.
Could have left out the boy with the wagon.
Could have left them out, wagon boy. Could have left them out. But I like the super element or the supernatural element. I loved his portrayal. I was shocked. I know he's a good actor, but I'm used to him as like Borat, you know, being the funny guy.
Right.
But dude, this dude's got range. And this is why anyone that says that, you know, you always tell me that opinions are subjective, right? They can't be right or wrong. Well, this is why y'all are all wrong about Robert Downey Jr., okay? You can't convince me that a guy who fucking plays Borat can knock Mephisto out of the park like that. And no one's thinking Borat when he's sitting there.
No, I most certainly didn't.
No.
Matter of fact, I didn't think about it until you just brought it up.
There you go. So when Robert Downey Jr. shows up as Victor Von Doom, no one's going to be thinking Tony Stark.
Nah.
Because he's an actor.
Yep.
He's not going to show up as Tony Stark. Matter of fact, he don't look like Tony Stark no more. He looks like an old dude.
Right. There you go. Emaciated old dude at
there
that.
You go. Yeah. So good thing for CGI and things of that nature. So, but Hood, I like his evolution throughout this show.
Mephisto or
no, Hood.
The Hood, yeah.
Yes. Going from, you know, this kind of crime guy to like eventually this dark like entity in a way, right? He was possessed.
Right.
And we it's cool because we've already seen what happens when someone uses the hood for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And now at the end, we know that, Riri is next, right?
Correct.
The fight. So
is the fight before the father?
no. Oh,
Okay.
the flashback with the father?
No, when he took over his father went into the house and told him to leave.
Oh no, it wasn't. That was awesome.
So I want to touch point of that. So this is all right. For all these producers, directors, cast, whatever.
I think I know where you're going.
This dude
Yep.
looks like he came out of his father.
Yep.
That guy. I mean, I don't know if
I knew he was his father before he said it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. They look like family.
Correct.
Whereas other movies,
Right.
they do a shitty job of casting when it comes to family members.
Riri and her mom.
Right.
Just because they're black don't mean they look alike.
Exactly.
I don't think they look alike.
No, not at all.
At all.
No.
I don't think the sister looks like the brother either.
Nope.
Natalie but these two, yes. 100%.
And that whole dynamic between them, it just besides the fight scene and the Borat scene, that was like, wow.
That was awesome.
It just made sense. It clicked.
Yeah.
All that anger, and you could feel it because they looked like father and son.
Right.
And the funny thing is like, cause I didn't want you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was like, cold,
damn.
dude. That was cold. And then when he said that whole, it's not personal, and then he realized, like, I say that too. Like, we had a couple flashbacks, which was cool. Like, it was great storytelling.
Yeah.
One thing that's funny, it's just like it's a side note, a little math ain't mathin', but this happens in movies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you can take over someone's entire life with like just a pre-prepared document. Hey, just sign this.
Right.
And then he's out like 4 seconds. I know it's for a movie, but like, okay, buddy, come on.
Yeah.
The other part, this was just...
Isn't that real?
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that how that works?
Yep. I'm going to sign that paper, Adrian. I'll take over your whole life right now. Just do it right here on camera.
Oh, you definitely don't want mine.
The other part where I'm like, the math ain't mathin', when they were giving Ezekiel Stain his powers.
Oh.
And they're strapping him in this fucking... So, all right, you have all this tech.
Right.
You got this machine that's going to implant these whatever.
Right.
In
Wait a minute.
seconds.
So you're going to sit there and let something drill in multiple parts of your head at the same time?
Yep.
I don't think so.
With no restraint.
Yeah.
And you're going to...
Well, he had the bat in his mouth.
You're going to chew on the wooden spoon. Now, but this part, the head's moving all over the place, and you're going to drill into someone's head.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Dude, years ago, I had a system on. I didn't know what I went to get a biopsy. Dude, they fucking strapped my head down, and I'm all like, I thought they were going to turn me into Frankenstein. But you mean to tell me you have all this amazing tech and we're not going to restrain his head? Okay. That's a small, stupid thing.
Yeah.
I thought his powers were cool as shit, dude.
Yeah, but what was up with his arms? I mean, did they put something on his arms to make him look more bulky, or did they put was it like armor? It looked almost like plastic on his arm or something.
I think
was that supposed to be
armor.
his skin, or that's...
No, it was like little things that they implanted. So they implanted some shit in his arm, which then went to his hands. Then he had the receptors. So they made him like a bionic man, pretty much.
Sure, but that just looked weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like they tried to make it look like, build it up to make it look like skin, except it looked fake.
Okay.
But yeah.
But I actually like what they did was a little goofy at some times.
Sure.
But I mean, it's like, it's also not like, they're comic book shows and movies.
Sure.
It's okay if they're a little goofy.
Yeah.
Everything can't be a joke, which I hope that's not what Superman turns into.
Mm,
but it's okay to have some humor and some goofiness in
sure.
there. I like that he was hacked, and we saw it too with the drag queen that is so capable and does everything, but can't everything but act. She can't act. But anyways, with the long, I don't know how you're typing with those Funyuns on the end of your finger, but anyways, she hacks hacks Zeke pretty much and puts Hood in charge.
Right.
Which we then see later on, which is, the part with the neighbor too, I was hoping he burnt those flowers, dude. The fucking neighbor, this bitch. Like, shut the fuck up. Mind your business. We were so the side note, nothing to do with anything here. We were at Six Flags, right?
Yeah.
Went to the water park, okay? We, do a little look around. We find an open seat.
Yep.
We go put our shit on the seat like everyone else, right? You find the open one, you put your stuff there, and then you go off and you swim and you go down water slides and you all do all the stuff. We come back, and when we put our stuff down, there were two girls sitting next. There were two seats next to them.
Mm-hmm.
One person in each seat. Then there was an empty seat, not empty seat, but a seat with a bunch of shit on it. Then there was a guy sleeping, okay, face down sleeping. We find the open seat, we put our stuff, we leave, we come back a couple hours later to re-up on some sunscreen, things of that nature. And then the guy says, we're all walking off, and I look back and I see my wife arguing with this guy. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go fuck somebody up. Mm-hmm. I go over, I'm like, yo, what's the problem? And he's like, he asked my wife, why are you using my shit? And she's like, your shit, this is my stuff. Fuck you talking about? He was like, well, that was my chair. I said, bro, the chair was empty. We put our shit down. So he's all confused. He's all upset. So anyways, long story short, like, people are fucking stupid. His chair was wide open. I put my shit down. Shut the fuck up. He's like, well, I was sleeping. I don't know what happened. I said, good, bro. Go back to your fucking nap then before you fucking take a real nap. So anyways, what's that to do with this, Adrian? Nothing.
You sound angry.
I was angry because, like, shut the fuck up and go to sleep. Leave us alone. I'm touching your shit. Well, I don't know what happened.
Don't you not know what the fuck you brought to a park?
Sure.
Don't you have to do inventory? And then you walk in there with your shit? And then when you see other people's shit, you know it's not your shit?
I don't want your crusty ass towel, motherfucker. Anyways. So, and sometimes the math ain't mathin', you know?
I got you.
But I did like Zeke. I like the character. I like what they did with it. But my point, it reminds me of the fucking neighbor, just being a pain in the ass. Shut your fucking mouth.
Oh man, she was abusive.
She was, dude. And he almost got her, and then Hood shows up and ruins everything. I like her new suit, the black and red one.
Yeah.
That was a badass suit.
It was. And
I like that
it's indicative of the magic, I think.
Yes. And maybe it was a Chicago thing too, you know, Chicago Bulls, black and red. Maybe that. I was expecting her throwing a pair of Jordans with those, you know.
She did have on Lady Jordan.
She did. Yep, she did.
With the Giants. Why does the suit have to have heels?
Because it's a girl suit, Adrian. Come on. What I like about the suit is it doesn't look like an wannabe Iron Man suit.
Correct.
You know it's an iron suit, right? But it has its own look. I thought it was cool. And the fusion of magic, that was cool as shit.
Yeah.
You know, it deleting the AI. That I still think the AI thing was a little off. Maybe that's why these episodes were so much better, was the AI was removed at this point, you know?
Right.
I mean, honestly, I get it, but it was a little much at times.
Yeah.
No balls in the lettuce on the AI.
Yeah.
The fight. Let's get to the fight. We talk about the dad. You know, Hood took over, and then we see a pretty badass fight between Hood and Riri.
Yeah.
What you mentioned the look, like they're fighting and he's turning into like a demon type shit. That was cool.
Yeah, it was.
You like the fight?
Yeah. It didn't look too doctored, too CGI-ish.
Right.
It was kind of horror movie-ish, convincing enough, meaning. And the interaction was cool. And the fact that, you know, she tricked him with the hologram kind of thing, that was pretty cool. But I was wondering because, I mean, it looked pretty real to me. So then he pulled the trigger. I'm like, so where is this going to go?
Right.
And then she shows up behind him. So that was pretty cool.
That was a good trick, like a good flip for the audience too, because I was with you. I'm like, no part of me thought it was a hologram.
Right.
And that is something that, as much as this character Riri's never met Tony Stark, obviously there's a lot of similarities. And in that, there's a lot of times where Tony wins a fight by outsmarting someone versus overpowering them.
Correct.
Right? Like, he's got power. He can hold his own. He ain't, you know, top tier power. I guess there's some versions of Iron Man.
Correct.
But most of the time, it's almost like Batman in a way where he's gonna outsmart you more than just straight up overpower.
Correct.
You.
Because the suit that he has on, or in Batman's case, the gear, whatever's in his utility belt, or Riri, she was like, should I put anything in it? He's like, no.
Yeah.
You know, the whatever you have in your arsenal at the time might not do it. And the wit is always evolving and changing and can be adapted to the scenario. Right. So the wit will win out when the tech does not.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we see after Riri outsmarts Hood takes the hood from him, right?
Mhm.
She then runs into Mephisto.
Right.
That was a cool scene between those two.
So this is where they forced a square into a circle.
Okay.
She's got a suit. So was her suit damaged to the point? Why couldn't she just leave through the window? Why did she have to walk down the stairs?
True.
I mean, it was operational, obviously, because she could move it. Because what people don't understand is that these suits are fucking heavy.
Right.
Right. I mean, she moves around like it's a piece of plastic on her back, but this shit's heavy. So obviously the suit works. So why did she have to walk downstairs? She had to walk downstairs
to run into Mephisto.
Into Mephisto.
I did think too, they're fighting upstairs. They don't fall through the floor. They fall through the wall. They don't fall, the suit is heavy. But
right.
Also thought it was funny how as much effort as it took Tony Stark to build those original suits, they're just like picking up cars and turning them into suits in a few days. Like, come on.
Nah.
So there's definitely some mathing throughout the show.
And also, like, if you walk downstairs, you're in a restaurant, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to stop and chat. I mean, if I see somebody eating at the table by themselves, I'm most certainly not going to fucking stop and talk to you.
Right.
I'm going right out the door. Because at the very least, if you decide to eat that by yourself, you probably want some alone time. And if there's other people around, I'm definitely not stopping. Right. So the whole, I got to walk downstairs to have an engagement with the only person in the place because I'm wondering why you're here. Right. No.
What did you think about Riri fighting Zeke when she hit him in the nuts to reset the whole?
Oh yeah, that was a good blow or whatever the fuck he said.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, they're not going to put receptors in his dick, right? So, you know, hey, let me hit you there. But goes back to, which we saw a little bit of her genius. She's a genius. I mean, everyone's a genius in Marvel, but she's a genius.
Correct.
Which is, I do hope they introduce her to the Avengers. Like, I'd love to see her interact with, like, you know, Peter Parker, with Sam Wilson, with some of these. I think that she's built up. She has enough presence on screen, and the character is interesting enough to where I would like to see her interact with some of these other characters.
I did not like all the references to all the engagements with other people. You know, Wakanda and Vibranium and Pym and, you know, Stark and I'm going to be smarter than or bigger than. I didn't like that.
Okay.
To me, it made the show, not only forced, but this didn't feel like, okay, so it's not an Iron Man movie. I get that. But it doesn't feel like a comic book movie either.
Okay.
It feels like, and maybe that was the point. But, you know, the armor in this show, I bought the hood thing, even the transformation, more than I bought the suit.
Okay.
In this show. It seemed forced. It seemed out of place. I mean, it got better on the last part.
Yeah.
Especially with the black suit. But it didn't quite feel real in that world. But again, I didn't like the references. Oh, why don't you just call up, you know, whatever, T'Challa's sister? Blah, blah, blah. Right. It's just, I don't like that.
Okay. All right. End of the show. You got her talking to Mephisto. There's this kind of back and forth. I kind of interpret it as he was like either reading her mind or he was getting information from her without her telling him. Because he kept asking, like, I can give you what you want, but she wouldn't tell him. But he was, I think those flashbacks were him either prying into her mind or getting some vibes or something. Is that how you viewed it, or would you
I thought he was getting into her mind for him because she was thinking about, because he was asking her, what is it ultimately that you want?
Yeah.
And her mind went to her best friend.
Yeah.
So she's having memories of her friend. And I saw it as he's seeing what her greatest desires are.
Okay. What about her decision to accept the deal? We kind of see it. We see her go to shake a hand. We see a flashback. It cuts back, or we see like a vision of Natalie returning. Then it cuts back to Mephisto and Riri in the booth. And then it cuts back to her and Natalie where she thinks she recreated the AI.
Right.
She tells her to run diagnostics. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then they embrace and we realize it's not a hologram anymore.
No, she face smashes.
That's
her.
right. Yep. And then they hug.
Right.
And it's like, and you didn't notice this at first, but those same marks that Hood had show up on Riri's face. So now, taking all that in, how do you feel about the ending of this?
After seeing Straw, I'm thinking Tyler Perry called up Coogler and say, hey, confuse the fuck out of him at the very end.
Okay.
Because in Straw, there was like almost like two endings playing out at the same time.
Got it.
So it's almost like, to me, she could have taken his offer, and as a result, this is what could have happened.
Yeah.
Or she could not have taken his offer, but it made it seem like she did.
It did seem, yeah.
Right.
At first, I told you earlier, I had to kind of jump back because at first I felt like she didn't take it.
Right.
But then I'm like, wait a minute.
You saw the thing.
I saw the show. I'm like, did I see that right? And then I go back, oh, she did. So I think they kind of fumbled that a little bit. It should have been more clear cut.
Right.
I think it would have had a bigger impact because I did initially feel like it was left on a cliffhanger. And I remember saying, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
And also, why did Riri think that she had recreated the hologram if the agreement was for Mephisto to give her friend back? Why would it be a surprise to her that, Natalie was real? Number one. Number two, Natalie seems like she didn't know what the fuck was going on, right?
Correct.
So that would mean that obviously she's not the AI. All of a sudden she finds herself there, but she doesn't seem too cool with her friend either.
No. Yeah. So we got some math.
Yes.
There's some math issues.
Yep.
Okay. We need to get a math teacher here on the set. But all in all, I think that for once they did the opposite where they started off in a pile of shit and they turned it into a nice grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah,
Okay, it was
some redemption happened.
It was, dude. I enjoy. It makes me want to see more of both of those characters. Actually, more of Hood, more of Ironheart,
right,
and more of the friend
Natalie.
Not Natalie, the witch friend. The
Oh yeah.
The one with the glasses.
Yep.
Yeah, and more of her. I thought she did a good job. It makes me want to see more of those characters. And I think that when you do a show, regardless of what you're going to rate the show, if it makes me want to see more of those characters,
right,
I think you did your job.
Yes.
So I would. What would you? It's hard because if I rated just these last 3 episodes, I'd give this thing probably 7.5 maybe.
Yeah. I would say probably a 6.5 across the board.
I think that's fair.
But I would bump it up to like a 7 if I was based on the last one.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It was. I do highly recommend. I think for those people that complain about the wokeness, you're going to be annoyed at some of the shit in the beginning of it that bothers you. I didn't understand it. It didn't bother me enough to not watch it. I mean, I know what world we live in now, dude.
Yeah,
where you're making content for Disney, I guarantee you they have boxes they have to check. Right?
Absolutely.
Do you have someone that represents this demographic and that one and this one and that one? Okay, you could hate it, you could whatever, but it's where we are.
Yep.
So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think it ended strong. So all right, we got 3 more things on the list here. Thinking about checking the boxes. We respond. We got a super hidden gem today.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. And then everyone's favorite, agree to disagree. So all right, we respond. We're gonna rapid fire through some of these. Or we're gonna Superman blitz some of these comments here. Okay. So Jay shot it. He's an intern. He says, my comment may be too late, but how did y'all feel about Ironheart? It is too late. We liked it. He says, I thought it was all right. Not bad, but not great. That's fair.
That's fair.
Best part of it was definitely Mephisto. And that means my boy Ghost Rider is coming. Hidden gem suggestion. Battle Beast from Invincible Universe will not disappoint. Ooh, he's gave us a suggestion, and he said it won't disappoint because we had a couple disappointments in the past.
Yeah. Yes.
OG Dirte says that movie or the movie Gravity is not top 100. That movie was trash. I mean, it was okay. I agree. I don't think it was top 100. That's a little drastic. Like, you ever seen Gravity? Gravity. It's the George Clooney and someone else in space shit. It was on the top 100 list last week.
No,
never even seen it. No. I agree. It's definitely not top 100. He also says, what up, Mike and Adrian and the interns? All right, what did you think about Mephisto appearance? We just went through that. Loved it. Didn't watch Ironheart, but I saw the scene with him and Riri. I think Mephisto was the best part of the show. Well, you didn't watch it, so, but you're right. You're right. Those DC fanboys that come on here talking smack gonna learn not to fuck with the interns. Yes. Mike, what do you think of the new season of Marvel Rivals? And can we get Adrian to play Marvel Rivals when they drop Blade? See, even he knows you like Blade. Yeah. Adrian, we should get a Hellfire Club. That would be awesome. Maybe you're saying for Hidden Gem. My top 5 comic book movies are number 5, Blade 2, number 4, Dredd, the new Judge Dredd. You like the Dredd movies?
I've only seen one.
Okay. This one from 2012, is that the one you've seen?
Stallone?
No, I think this is a newer one. I don't think Stallone was in the 2012 one, but who knows?
Well, I've only seen that one.
Okay. Alita, Battle Angel.
Very cool movie.
Okay.
You should watch that one.
I've thought about that.
It's definitely, you definitely should see that.
So I should watch that for the finalists. Okay.
Yeah.
Polar, Netflix, and my number 1, Avengers Infinity War.
Polar is off.
Really?
Dude, it's insane. It's got everything in it, literally.
Yeah. Okay. He says, I'm getting some t-shirts from you guys and all right, shout out. And just to piss off some DC fanboys, Superman looks like Johnny Knoxville with red stuff around his eyes.
Wow.
Good luck beating the Fantastic Four at the box office. AWAB. Love me some OG Dirte. DJ Super Soldier. AWAB, what's up, Mike and Adrian? Firstly, I think the Batman 2 has a great shot at being better than the Batman. They have a great story and Batman from the first one to really expand. I think, too, they have a really good foundation of everything they did. And then you can pick up right after the Penguin. Actually, what he said, I do wonder if they'll pick up right. I hope they pick up at the end of the Penguin show.
Yeah.
I hope that at least, I don't think the Penguin should be the main villain. But you know how there's movies where like they have a villain in the beginning of the movie, Batman puts that guy away, then leads to something bigger.
Right.
I would be down with that with Penguin.
Well, speaking of the Penguin, quick question, do you think the Penguin could be on a level of like The Sopranos?
If it continue, yes, it could be. It would need, obviously, Sopranos has like 6 seasons.
Right.
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I think it could be.
Well, is it because it's a comic book movie and wouldn't have the appeal or the reach?
No, it's because the Sopranos writing, I've never seen a show that has that level of attention to detail to character arcs where everything fucking means something. Like we pointed out a lot of stupidity in the Ironheart show.
Right.
And there wasn't as much of that in the Penguin, but there was some of it.
Got it.
There was the wasted stuff with the brother, like the stupid episode. Like you did not have that in The Sopranos.
Got it.
You know, everything meant something and every character had an arc in some way, shape, or form. And the writing was phenomenal.
Got it.
So I will glaze the Sopranos show every day of my life, Adrian. Secondly, I would put Rogue One in my top 3 Star Wars films because you're smart. Yep. Top 5 comic book movies: 5 Dark Knight, 4 Infinity War, 3 Civil War, 2 Into the Spider-Verse, 1 Across. I don't disagree with that list. That's a good list. Mike, wow, the AWAB shirt is giving me free Yayo shirt vibes with the color and G Unit. Yes, free Yayo. Well, he's been free for a while, but I'm off to the long walk, Windsor Gardens this Sunday. That's where they're shooting Doomsday. I'm going to have a look to see if I can get a glimpse of some of the construction. All right, so if DJ Super Soldier goes missing, we know why.
Exactly.
He got too close to set. I did tell him, don't get caught sneaking in, but maybe snap some photos and send them to us.
Yeah.
You know?
Just don't get too close to the sun.
For real. Doombot says, I typically agree with a lot of your guys' opinions, but not having Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 in your top 5 is just wrong. Insert buzzer sound. Yeah. Now, all right, the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Yes.
Do you like this?
I do.
You do. I really like the first 2 movies. The third is okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But neither one of us had any of those movies in our top 5 list. But I guess my response, and I did respond, but it's definitely in my top 10, I would assume, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand. I mean, how long have we been watching movies? I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I would actually have to sit down for like a week and really think about a top 5. I mean, there's top 5, then there's top 5 over the past 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, you know? So it's hard to put in everything.
Yeah.
So I agree with him, but also there's circumstances behind it.
Right. Like, I mean, some of the names we had, The Dark Knight, I mean, Spider-Man 2, all right, well, let's just go with this. Of that Spider-Man trilogy, I believe the second one is the best. Do you agree, or do you like the first or third one more?
I'm always I agree on the second one, but I have a fondness for the first of any remake.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's close. Like that's one. Now, if anyone said the third one's first, I'd be like, yo, you should probably get checked out, dude.
Right.
Something's fucking loose up there. No offense to anyone who loves that movie. And dude, the first one has a special place in my heart, Adrian. It was me and my wife's first date. We were in high school. Yeah, it was back in 2002. That was the first day of Spider-Man movie. I'm like, if you're gonna be with me, you have to deal with some nerd shit. So, anyways, all right, John Bon Von, he provided me a list of Alien movies. So, dude, there's 16 of these. We're getting a little crazy here. Alien Predator. You've seen all the Alien Predator?
I think so.
Okay. And this is like, there's that debate in Slap Arrest.
Wait a minute. Alien versus Predator or Aliens or Predator?
Yes.
Okay.
All of it.
Yes.
You've seen all of them.
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
Pretty much.
Because they Aliens comes first, right?
Yep.
There's 2 Alien movies, and John Von gave me the timeline. So you got Alien in 79, Aliens in 86. That's the one everybody loves, right? Aliens, the second one. Predator in 87, Predator 2 in 90, Alien with an asterisk in 92 was like a remake or something. Alien Resurrection in 97. And then in 04, we had Alien vs. Predator. First time they crossed paths, right? And then Alien vs. Predator Requiem in 07. Predators in 2010. Prometheus in 12. Prometheus. Alien Covenant in 17. The Predator in 18. Prey in 22, which I guess takes place
back in time.
Alien Romulus in 24. And then Predator Killer of Killers, and then Predator Badlands comes out in November of this year. And then, some of those are actually prequels. Do you like to watch them release order, or like this one came first, timeline order?
I watch them whenever I discover that I haven't watched one.
Okay,
before.
so release order.
And out of those, I think the 2 that I didn't like the most was Resurrection, when they made a clone of what's the face?
Those are one in 97.
And Prometheus.
Got it. But you say are they better than, on par with like the MonsterVerse type movies, or would you say they're better?
I would say they're different. If you say MonsterVerse is things like King Kong, Godzilla, they definitely different.
Okay.
I mean, these are like you would put Predator, Aliens up against something like I don't know, Freddy Krueger. You don't put them up against more so than you would like a Godzilla.
Got it.
It's 2 different things.
Because the first Alien movies are basically horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Like I do. I played some of the game, dude. There's a game where it takes place, I think it's in between those movies or something. You board that ship where all the fucking aliens are.
Yep.
And it's a stealth game, and that xenomorph starts walking around. And there's a mode where you can play where you use the microphone, and you have to be quiet, like physically. If you're breathing or you make noise, the alien in the game will find you. Yeah, it's some nerve-wracking shit, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, so, all right, moving on. Broman Williams, he's back. What's up, Mike and Adrian? AWAB. So recently in Hollywood streets, James Gunn said Batman Brave and the Bold universe is a live-action adaptation to Batman the Animated Series. Ooh, I don't know about you, but that sounds badass. That definitely sounds badass. As a kid born in the 80s, lived through the 90s, this is God-tier information for me. What do you guys think about this? Dude, I would love that. That's what the Batman the Animated Series is probably one of the best it's animated, one of the best movie, show, TV, whatever, portrayals of the Batman character. They did a phenomenal job with the animated series. Kind of like X-Men. Your best portrayal, the embodiment of the X-Men is the animated series. I say the same about Batman, which is why they fumbled Cape Crusader so fucking bad.
Have you you probably haven't seen it, but they got a new Batman with the Batman family. Batman's popping around in time, and they come back and they realize that Japan is gone. So it's like a Japanese animation, another Japanese animation version of Batman. It's pretty cool. It's on what do I have? What channels do I have? Showtime, I think.
Okay. John Bon Von says, as much as I love crossovers and all that, I don't necessarily want Punisher in Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man needs to be alone. No Tony Stark, no Nick Fury, and have him figure it out. I mean, I get that. I think that is probably the biggest critique of the MCU Spider-Man is it's always him leaning on somebody else. The first movie was Stark. The second movie was Nick Fury. Then we learned that he was a Skrull. And then Now, in the third movie, he's got his other Doctor Strange, right? He's his mentor. Then he's got, multiple Spider-Man. So
I would agree.
I get that. I mean, it would be nice.
If you're going to reset him, make him alone and figure this shit out on his own and then do some good stuff.
But I just think the MCU is in this space of like they have all these characters, and I think they're trying to include as many as they can in a lot of their properties. So I don't think they're going to go that way, John. I think, but again, I do want to see Punisher and Spider-Man 4. I think it'd be cool. So I see both sides to that argument.
Right.
He also says, motherfuckers, LOI, never let it go. About his Night Watch, because he's the one that suggested the amazing Night Watch hidden gem that was an atrocity. Anyways, it wasn't Diablo. Someone else did Diablo. My bad. Whoever did Diablo, tell him to stop too. All right, Slap a Wrestling. My guys, AWAB, I'm with Mike. I gave Pedro the benefit of the doubt, but with the last trailer, nah. He says, nah.
I told you. I told you in front. I was against him from the very beginning about that. It's like, it's not him.
Nope.
It's not him.
Although Silver Surfer dropping that cold herald line, she got aura now. That was badass. And she was, I herald his beginning. I herald your ending. I herald Galactus.
Yeah.
That was some good writing, dude. Because Silver Surfer is a beast.
Yeah.
Best comparison, Mike, same as wrestling. If DC is doing good, it means Marvel will pick up. Exactly. My hidden gem got post-shower Shaq. I only said him because he was in the show. I swear I should have said Mojo. Psycho Man does play a part in Deadpool Kills the Universe. Yes, all right, it's okay. At least he acknowledged his failure.
Okay, it's no worries.
Yeah, it's all right.
Just come back with somebody else.
He says Mojo from Mojo.
Mojo, okay.
Yeah, Mojo's he's a good one. He's an X-Men. I think it's
reminds me of what is it? That
Austin Powers shit.
No, Java the Hutt.
Oh, yes.
Turd. Actually, Mojo reminds me more of Weird Science.
Okay.
When she turns the brother into like this
the blob
fucking turd.
The Weird Science was the shit.
It was, dude.
Yep. How would you guys introduce a supernatural? Oh, I'm sorry, skip one. After all the episodes, Adrian and I watched, you got me hooked on Alpha Flight, who I just got to see an X-Men animated series. What comics would you recommend of theirs? Do you have any Alpha Flight comics or era? Maybe?
Alpha Flight is for me is just a good overall feeling.
Yeah.
I would go back and find where they were introduced with Wolverine and just start from there.
Okay. And then he says, how would you guys introduce supernatural side of Marvel to the MCU with Midnight Suns, Ghost Rider, and Blade? Well, I mean, I think they just started with Ironheart. I think they should pick up off of that. What I would say is you got Mephisto now. Mm-hmm. Mephisto's also been teased in Wanda, been teased in Agatha. Let's have these interact in some way, shape, or form.
And I'm assuming Strange has got to be up in that somewhere.
He's got to be, yeah.
So does he detect, feel, whatever,
Well, here you go. I'm sure there'll be a third Doctor Strange movie at some point. That would be a good place since we've had everyone and their brother in Doctor Strange movies, right? You could have Ironheart and Hood show up. Sure. You can have Mephisto show up. Maybe Mephisto shows up in Doctor Strange with then Hood is now on this path to try to get his magic back.
Correct.
Maybe that leads him there, which then attracts Ironheart. There you go. We solved it.
There you go. And I think Strange should show up in Ironheart, not the other way around.
Right. All right. So let's see. A couple more. C. Jason 1. Oh, this is he said his daughter loves when I mess his name up. His name is right here. My daughter cracks up every time she hears you say my screen name. Been busy at work, so I haven't commented. But it's actually CJ is on one. That makes more sense than C. Jason 1. Why don't you just say that the first time, right? CJ? Or CG? I'm even fucking that up. CG is on one. Okay. All right.
CG or CJ?
CG. It is CG is on one.
Got it.
All right. We got you now. You're on one. He said, finished the third episode of Ironheart, and it's a 6.5 out of 10. They pick weird timing for backstory. Since I never read the comics, I can't source it to the show. But overall, it was a good watch. But man, did they do all that helping they did all that helping her learn to accept help for the show to end in a weird way. Yes, yeah, I see what you're saying. Where she needed to rely on her, her friends and everyone around her for help.
Right.
And then in the end, she makes a deal with the devil. So yeah, it's kind of, I wasn't commenting. I said I wasn't commenting again until the last 3 episodes, but as Adrian says, I always had the right to change my mind. I agree with the stereotypes are wild, but once you again, you need more diversity in the writing rooms who are bold to push back against this stuff. Yeah. And for the noticer, it is a little bit of checking a box when these characters in comics haven't done well. And you can play with their inclusion to see how it goes on screen, even with the hacker who can't type shit with those long ass nails. All right, let's see. A couple more. Brandon Jones, Halle Berry, or however you want to spell her name, can play Storm all she wants. Just please remove the memory of that Catwoman movie. By the way, do you think it will be possible to grab Jessica Jones Max Omnibus? Yes, I will check that out. Let's see. We'll do a couple more, and then we were getting to Hidden Gem. Sons of Sekhmet. People that would make a better Reed Richards and Pedro Pascal's. Burt Reynolds, Pierce Bronson, Aaron Eckhart.
Damn.
Yeah, I think
he's literally saying anybody.
I think those are too old, but yeah, you're saying anybody.
I mean, if you said Burt Reynolds off the bat, you're literally saying anybody.
Or with the newer Marvel casting people, Napoleon Dynamite, Tommy Chong, or Mr. T.
Jesus.
Cast Mr. T as Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, because the Mr., the Mr. Charles Mon says, I'm glad you guys brought up the tribalism with comic movies. It's horrible. Rage bait clicks, people bashing movies that they haven't seen yet and they don't get invited to see stuff earlier, blocking people that respectfully disagree with them. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. I enjoy this channel and one other because you guys can talk about what you like, dislike, and not insult your fans. Well, sometimes. If they don't like you on everything, keep it up. Yes, we are not going anywhere, Charles Mon. We can do this all day. And then Sons of Sekhmet also says, can you just give my boy Marshala Ali his Blade movie and not keep making it work? They really just should, dude.
Yeah.
I
mean, because they keep delaying. He's gonna be way too old to do
they're digging into this supernatural shit.
Right.
I mean, you got Mephisto,
Blade would be a perfect segue into all because he kind of fits in between.
Sons of Sekhmet also says, I'm with you on the 2 cheeseburger meal, so much better. Yes. He says the Wendy's chili is made from the burgers they drop on the floor or burn. I don't know.
I don't give a damn.
Fact check that shit right there, because
that shit's good.
Yes. He says, no disrespect, but what the fuck's going on with Mike's beard? Were you cosplaying? Nah, a little trim for the nice weather, dude. Get some breeze under there, Adrian, All right. And then, one last but not least, Captain Canada, AWAB. I can't wait to receive my free AWAB shirt. Now I need to come up with some more catchphrases. It's on the way, dude. I felt the same about Ironheart, a bit more than mid for me. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
He also says, I saw the Doom helmet at GameStop the other day. Looks fire. Not sure if it's the same one. I don't know. It's the Marvel Legends one. I think it drops in August. So if GameStop has it already, then what the fuck? My top 5 is very similar, just in a different order. He mentions that he owns the 4K version of both Spider-Verse movies and the Metro Boomin vinyl soundtrack. Fast X2 coming in 2027. Oh, this is good. So, I don't know if you saw this last week, Vin Diesel, they had some type of event. I don't know where it was, but it was to promote this Fast X Part 2, okay? Vin Diesel looks like he fucking ate Vin Diesel.
Wow.
Yes. Now, Dom is known as being the jack guy, right? Like, so hopefully he cleans it up for the movie, because seeing a fat Dom is not going to be cool.
I mean, the last few movies, he's been putting it on.
Yeah, he has. He's trying to be, as the kids call it, Adrian, a big back. Okay. That's the word on the street. But so in this little press con, whatever the fuck it was, he said that the studio wanted him to deliver this Fast X movie in 2027. He said under 3 conditions. He said that we go back to LA. I think he said we get back to street racing, and we include the Brian character. Okay, so we know Paul Walker died, right? Tragic accident.
That makes sense, dude.
It does.
I mean, you recast the dude.
Well, his brother when they did that movie, the Furious 7 or some shit.
Whatever.
When they did the 7th movie, okay, his brother was like a stand-in, and they used some CGI to tweak the face to make him look more, but his brother looks a lot like him.
Okay.
And his brother's an actor. Let his brother play him.
Okay.
Right? Like, that's a nice little, pay homage to your brother.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not an actor. I don't know if you know this, but if I'm in his shoes, I think a great way to pay homage to my brother who loved this role, loved this franchise, is to play his character.
The problem is, like, how do you bring him back?
Well, they didn't kill him. Remember, he just retired. You can pull someone out of retirement.
I guess. I mean, you're right. I mean, they brought back. It was supposedly killed off Wonder Woman, and she comes up in a fucking submarine.
Yeah.
So I guess they can bring Brian back.
Well, even if you remember in one of the last shows, last movies, there's that end scene at the table where the empty spots for Brian, and we see his car pull up.
Yeah.
So he still exists in the universe. They just don't feature him because he's retired. He's a stay-at-home dad now. So maybe there's a threat, Adrian, that's so big that it pulls Brian. It's like Scarface, Godfather 3, dude.
So if they bring Brian back,
yep.
Can you take some of the fat off of Vin Diesel and put it on his fucking wife?
Yes.
Oh my God, dude! Somebody feed this chick.
Damn. Okay. All right. That dude Pablo says that Parasite was pretty good, maybe 7. You ever seen Parasite?
What?
That movie that was number 1 on this top 100 list, Parasite?
Doesn't ring a bell.
All right.
I'm thinking Parasite and Superman comics.
No, not that.
No.
So he says maybe 7.5 or 8 out of 10 must watch. And I don't know. Yeah, well, the fucking New York Times says it's the best movie of the 21st century. He says, I agree, Dark Knight is great, but I don't know about higher than a few others. Infinity War was better than Dark Knight. Yeah, I think a lot of us agree on that. He says, I'm bracing for the buzz on some of these, but you can't tell me the MCU would be where it was totally without Blade. All right, so we're gonna transition into Hidden Gem, but that's a point I've seen a lot. I've not seen Blade, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people feel like the MCU would not be where it is today if we didn't have the Blade movies.
It's kicked off everything, dude.
Yeah, you think so?
I mean, people think Iron Man did, but it was really Blade.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a ripple effect, right? Blade came first, then X-Men, then Spider-Man, then the MCU. And I think you probably needed each one of those to get to the MCU, right? So, but to your point, Blade kicked it off. Blade was successful. It gave the studios enough faith to now develop some other characters. They gave X-Men a shot. It did very well. Spider-Man, great at the box office. And then the MCU was just, dude, all the rest is history, as they say. Yep, it was like, dude, it's like 17 times changed, like the hot dog guy, dude, pounding Glizzy after Glizzy.
I really could have gone the rest of the show without hearing that shit again.
All right, well, the Hidden Gem. Is the Hidden Gem the hot dog guy?
It is not.
Okay, damn it.
So, I mean, because we've dawdled and other shit for like a long time, so I'm gonna go through this kind of quick. However, you won't miss anything because this week's Hidden Gem is Superman. But all of them.
Okay.
So
I was gonna say you should have stopped me earlier then when I was fucking ruining
No, because I mean you did half my job.
Okay.
Right?
I did the base Superman.
The base Superman.
Yep.
Now, a lot of people don't realize how many Supermans there actually are, right? And some of them are kind of repeat, but I'm gonna go like the top 49. I'm not gonna, do the whole reel on every one of them, but I'll stop and highlight maybe a couple of them. But 49, 50 Supermans, that's a lot. All right, let's go. Lex Luthor, so maniacal. So Lex Luthor, the Superman, is like Von Doom to Reed Richards, right? He covets him. He hates him. He loves him. He loves to hate him. So at some point he becomes Superman. Now, this is also, I think, I'm listening to this from power sets. You're going to go from the least powerful to the most powerful. Okay. And there's going to be a lot of Supermans you never heard of. Super Soldier Superman, an amalgamation of Captain America and Superman. Exactly. Bizarro, we've heard of Bizarro, right? Yep. He's like not the anti, but the opposite of Superman, right?
Like Reverse Flash.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So like he has like ice vision and flame breath instead of cold breath and heat vision, kind of a deal. And I think Bizarro would be an interesting hidden gem all by himself. He's kind of like the short bus version of Superman. New 52 Superman, solar flares, slightly reduced power, right? So as Superman progresses or matures, he may gain some powers. Like the first Superman back when he was first created, he couldn't even fly. A lot of people don't realize that. When they say run faster than a speeding bullet and leap tall buildings, he actually did that. He didn't fly.
Yeah.
He was jumping. He wasn't flying. So they will do some powers, they'll upgrade them, they'll reset them, and all of that is in this list. Real world Superman, no powers, just inspired by Superman. New Order Superman, martial artist, kind of like a Iron Fist Superman as opposed to like the super powered ones. So a lot of these cats, they didn't even have the power, or they had their powers taken away from them, as opposed to having the super strength or some version of it. Golden Age Superman, that's the one I was just talking about. He was leaping and limited durability. He could, and they list him as he wasn't even able to withstand an atomic bomb. Pussy. Cyborg Superman, obviously tech manipulated, and he had flight and strength, but it came from armor. Red Sun Superman. There was actually animated movie about him where he landed in Russia as opposed to United States. Speeding Bullet Superman had Krypton powers, but he was more analytical like Batman. Secret Identity Superman, limited powers. Earth One Superman, younger, emotional, kind of like Superboy, but Superman. For Tomorrow Superman, more philosophical, with the regular power, the standard Superman powers. Bright Right Superman, add basic powers with a solar flare. American Alien Superman, coming of age, evolving powers. Lois and Clark Superman. So this is based off of the show Lois and Clark.
Okay.
So I'm actually surprised. Like in the Flash, in the CDW of Flash, they had the 80s Flash that came in as Garrett. Play a part of the newer
in the
Flash.
Crisis Infinite Earths story.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't have like the Lois and Clark Superman show up anywhere. Maybe it'll be in some live action version of Crisis on Infinite Earth. Up in the Sky Superman, Cosmic Awareness, Man of Tomorrow Superman, more solar powered. Superman the animated series, again based off of. Again, so they place these supermen in the movies or the shows that they were to compare them as far as capabilities. So
got it.
There's an Earth 23, Earth 2, Earth 30, Earth 38 Superman. And that's like 30 through 27. Earth Prime Superman and Earth 1 Superman, a rebooted version of. So at some point they get too powerful or the shit's like too insane. So they reboot them to kind of, calm them down a little bit. Kingdom Come Superman, older, hardened, solar powered. So again, Superman is long-lived, not near immortal, and as opposed to immortal. So what does that mean? So you have a person that he might live 2, 3, 5, 10,000 years, 17,000 years. Thor might live, it will live longer than that. But Diana theoretically is ageless. So those are the differences. All-Star Superman. So this is the one where he kind of like pretended to go mad. So Lex Luthor overexposed him to sun. This is the one where he was lifting 200 quintillion tons.
Shit.
Because Luthor set up some kind of explosion in the sun. He had to go to the sun. He was overexposed. His cells were like, exploding and all this other kind of shit. He became super strong. He eventually had to leave and he took a nap inside the sun. DC 1 million Superman. Solar power for 15,000 years. That's probably as they come one right after the other. So he went in as All-Star Superman, came out as DC 1 million Superman. Superman Beyond, multiversal awareness, advanced powers. Superman Prime, cosmic awareness, reality manipulation. Like he needs to be fucking stronger, right? Superman X, energy-based, futuristic tech. Injustice Superman. This is the one I'm waiting to see. He's deranged, more ruthless, more calculating. Justice Lord Superman, authoritarian. That's actually kind of like, if I can merge those two, put him off on a planet somewhere where he's like a king, taking over some shit, that'd be cool to see. Superboy Prime, obviously, an amalgamation of, somebody stole Superman and Lex Luthor's DNA and, merged them. Ultraman, like an anti-Superman powered by kryptonite. So instead of being weakened by kryptonite, he was powered by kryptonite. Val Zod, a pacifist. John Kent, son of Clark, who has the capability of evolving beyond his father's powers. Steel, with John Henry Irons, he had a powered armor. He didn't have powers, but he built armor that had power similar to Superman's.
Got it.
Where we at? Eradicator, an energy manipulating Kryptonian DNA based Superman. Solar Superman, absorb immense solar energy, near omnipotent. Cosmic Armor Superman, thought robot, metafictional entity. Strange Visitor Superman, Electric Blue and Electric Red Superman, and now we're in the top 4. Superman 1 million. This cat lived in the sun for a millennia. So he lived to the point where, like, all the Loises, the Bruce Waynes, everybody that he knew and loved had died.
Yeah.
So he was like, let me just go and take a giant nap. So he lived inside the sun for like a million years or whatever, and came out with pretty much godlike powers. Now, if you think he's number 4.
Oh shit.
Right? So Silver Age Superman, planet juggling, time traveling Superman. Pre-crisis Superman, galaxy sneezing, solar system moving. And then Thought Robot, the Cosmic Armor Superman, multiversal, multiversal protector, adapts to any threat. So you go from this cat that has godlike powers to a cat that's like, it just gets insane. But my point is this. With this, there's so many variants of, since this is pretty much Superman week, there's so many variants of Superman. And this is why it's kind of disappointing that they've done such a shitty job of reimagining Superman.
Man of Steel.
Exactly. Well, I kind of disagree with you on that. But he's so powerful, it's like they don't know what to do with him.
Right.
And they just can't get him right. He's obviously a very important character in the DC universe, probably top tier in DC universe. And he is there's either remakes or inspirations based around him, and they still can't get it right. But this is a long list. I mean, there's no 50 versions of Doom. There's probably 5, right? There's no 50 version of, unless you get into multiversal versions, which is not what we're talking about here.
Right.
So obviously a very important character. I just wish they get him right. But again, as you can see, lifting 200 quintillion tons is nothing compared to as you go up the ladder. I mean, think about it. Put a couple of planets together on a chain, you can tug that shit through space.
Crazy.
That's crazy, dude. Anyway,
one of your favorites on this list is the Injustice one.
Yeah.
I'm sure you never played the game.
No.
You seen the movie? The cartoon or the animated Injustice?
Yes.
Okay. I played some of the game, I've not seen the movie, but in a nutshell, Superman becomes a dictator because the Joker tricked him into killing Lois Lane.
Correct.
And their unborn child.
Correct.
And really just pushes him over the edge.
Well, he didn't just do that. He also nuked Metropolis.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was a couple of things.
Just a couple of, everything added up, sent him over the fucking edge, which really changes. He just abandons everything he stood for.
But and this is a perfect example we was talking about earlier. Sometimes the utility belt or the armor or the tech doesn't do it, right? So what does Batman do? Batman brings in a Superman from another universe or a time.
Okay.
To help take care of this,
Makes sense.
to calm this boy down.
Because he's Batman. Dude.
Yeah.
He's a fucking man. Shit. Should be starting with that instead of Superman. Anyways. All right. Well, that is Hidden Gem. That was a super hidden gem, Adrian.
Yep.
Yes. We're going to wrap this up with agree to disagree. It's been a long one today,
yes,
Adrian.
sir.
No Diddy. It's been a long one, okay? All right, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This is where I throw out. I got 8 today, 8 in my opinion. I may make up another one as we get through the list. Who knows?
As one does.
Yes. Actually, go to our split screen, Adrian. Not our Doom. I mean, Doom's there. He's awesome, but.
Which one?
Just me and you. Split.
Oh.
There we go. All right. So, agree to disagree. I throw out a handful of my opinions as of today. I made them up today, Adrian.
As of this moment?
Yes, as of the moment. They could change. It could change before we're off the air. And you guys argue about it in the comments, get upset, get in your feelings, and cry. And man. And guess what? Fuck. All right. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1. James Gunn Superman will be better than Man of Steel. It's a prediction.
I agree.
Okay. Batman versus Superman was better than Man of Steel. Remember this. Martha. So it's not great, but
I barely. Would say.
Okay. By a smidget, as they say.
So agree.
Okay. Superman killing Zod. I'm sorry, unaliving Zod. It wasn't Martha level, but it was one of the dumbest Superman moments in live action.
Agree.
And my boy, the greatest live action Batman of all time, Battinson, in no way, shape, or form should be the DCU's Batman. Find your own, nerds.
Agree.
Zack Snyder's Justice League was the best. You've never even heard me say that, right? The best of anything. The best movie out of the Snyderverse, but the entire Snyderverse was mid or worse.
Agree.
It was the best turd
a
bunch of fucking turds.
Yep.
As nice as a turd could be, you know? It was a post-shower shat,
wow.
as I say. I think it was.
We're stretching this out, huh?
No, I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is a perfect example of a post-shower shat.
Damn.
It was necessary. A shat is relieving, but you don't want to take one right after you take a shower. So,
correct.
There you go. Ironheart should get a second season.
I agree.
Black Adam would beat Superman 7 out of 10 times.
One of these versions, anyway.
regular. The regular one.
You're right.
We should stop celebrating people for winning hot dog eating contests. Just come on, dude. Definitely. Seriously,
that's a level of ridiculous.
It really is, dude. It's why. I mean, I could go on for too long about that, but we'll just wrap it up. And the last one is everybody watching. Subscribe to our YouTube if you're not already. Check out other stuff where we're going to dig into some conspiracies, as we always do. We're talking about some weather manipulation. Not like storm weather, like the character. Like, are they really doing this shit, Adrian?
I think so.
Are they creating hurricanes and fucking around with rain and
hurricanes and definitely some fires.
Probably. So find out on other stuff this Wednesday. And you can subscribe in the description of our YouTube video, or you can go to our YouTube page. Anyways, Adrian, thanks for coming out today.
Absolutely.
It was a super episode, for Superman. So I am excited to check out Superman this week.
I'm interested in checking
You're
out.
Curious.
I'm not excited.
Okay.
No.
But we will let you know all about it next week. So we won't spoil it like the Daily Beast. We'll let you know next week. So,
there you go.
Well, thank you guys for joining. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, do it now. What the fuck you waiting for? Drop us some comments. Let us know if you liked our show. If you didn't, don't watch it anymore, right?
There's that.
Right? So, and who knows what I'm gonna watch finally this week? I don't know. Right. We got a lot to pick from.
There you go.
Well, Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, man.
Guys, we'll see you next week right here on Only Comics, and some of you on other stuff.
There you go. Peace.